And some of it's just. When I move. Takes a half a beat.
Oh, no, sorry.
There's a lag in the video. It's interesting.
And some people is worse than others, and
We don't have anything like that, but the side by side comparison.
Well, there's the up and down, so there's no getting around that, but.
Okay.
So we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order and start with roll call.
Stephanie Balsam.
Michael Cornelia.
Jim Moore,
Julie Thal on Zoom.
Glenn Beard. Is everyone? So now we'll open up if anyone has a public or conflict of interest.
This is Stephanie, no conflict.
Nothing here.
Jim Moore, no conflict.
Julie, no conflicts.
And this is Lynn, no conflict. And then we'll start with general public comments. Please state your name and address before speaking. In the event any individual or organization would like an item on the agenda for board consideration, please contact the staff the Thursday before the meeting. The president will ask for public comment on specific items that appear on the agenda after board discussion, staff input, and before board action. In general, responses to questions regarding the agenda item can be more efficiently answered if provided in advance to staff via the district manager.
I have one public comment. She wasn't able to make tonight's meeting, but she sent me an email, and here it goes. I realize this isn't a great time to ask for help while you are busy with the paving project, but natural disasters don't happen on a schedule. Our neighbors in Vallecito are suffering. A good friend of mine has a home right on the creek. Homeowners insurance will help fix the home. However, most policies don't help with private road repair. I am asking you to consider helping road repairs there with your heavy equipment and knowledgeable staff. A neighborly gesture for a friend in need to the north would be wonderful. Thank you for your consideration. And her address is 261 East Valley View, and Joanne Kopke,
Kopke, Kopke.
So I guess that's really up to the board if you want to allow us to dedicate some of our resources to go help fix some roads.
I'll start with that. I don't know if a lot of people know, but during the actual incident, our road crew did an amazing job of aiding in immediate response to the ongoing situation out there. They utilized trucks, they utilized manpower, so they did. We have responded, I guess, as a district. I don't know if it was led by you, but
no, actually, it was led by Daryl.
And so, first of all, I'd like to say, as a board member and a community member, like I just want to thank you guys. I personally saw them out there covered head to toe in sand and dirt. It's amazing to step up as a community, and I think this is an opportunity where I support as we can. And so, you know, I don't know financial costs or anything like that. That's something we can discuss, but I do support our continued efforts in the community where appropriate.
I agree with that. I mean, we don't know what the parameters are they're looking for, but I assume it's something that we would do in conjunction with the county.
The county and McCarty's excavation down there does work down there.
Okay. I would support it as a board member. I don't wanna overtax our guys though and limit. what
Well,
happens in our
it would
community.
definitely be very dependent on where we're at. Obviously, it's probably not gonna happen until our project is done.
Yeah.
I agree with both.
This is Julie. Sorry, Lynn, go ahead.
Go ahead, Julie.
I was just gonna say I appreciate her sending that in and asking for that, but I do feel that we have a pretty full load. And I do know that Good Samaritan's Purse and a lot of other organizations are up there where she could potentially get assistance. It seems like Viaceto residents are really helping each other out tremendously with equipment, and I don't think that I could support it right now. Daryl and his team have a whole lot of stuff going on, and then we're going to be getting the paving and all that. I think we need to keep our resources here. I don't want to not support people in need, but I think at this time it's not a good fit for me.
So it's not my, so there are actually several contracts.
Wait,
Yeah,
just like-
just those things.
Sorry, yeah, well, we can open it up for public comments at the end of ours. But so I think if there's a place where we fit, where we can help and fit, I agree with Michael and Stephanie in this. And if being a good community member, it's part of helping where we can. I get it needs to be around the road, our road infrastructure that's got a hard timing on it. But if we can do it without overtaxing, and especially if there's people willing to do the extra work within Daryl's team, I don't want to make anyone do it, but if there's opportunities to help there around that, I think it'd be a good, it's what we would hope for if the roles were reversed. So.
Okay.
To ask Daryl, do you have capacity to do something like this?
I think after we get the road done, yes, we can absolutely help out.
Okay,
Of course, it would have to be after hours. It would be during after hours. I'm willing to put in overtime hours to help out, and I'm sure that my operator would do the same. He's already asked to help before. We just didn't have the other chance to help.
Do you know what the extent is, Daryl, of what they're asking for?
I would imagine that McCarty would be able to provide material as far as road base and everything else. I'm sure if anything, they would probably need like help with graders, ditches, final prep on roads with a grader, stuff like that. I mean, I don't know. I haven't spoke with anybody. I can reach out and find out if they need, what kind of help they need, and we can proceed from there.
And from the sound of, well, when I spoke to this lady in person, it's not like the major county roads. These would be private driveways.
And that's where I wanted to jump back in and say, we've already discussed with our lawyer on certain topics about our resources going to private residents, or, I think we need to be careful with that. So, we're not just helping out one house and not the other. We're not, putting ourselves in a situation where we can be viewed as like picking and choosing who we want to help out at this time. The public capacity, I think that's the part I really support. The private, I'd be a little more careful with. And obviously you guys have talked to the lawyers, so you know better than we do, I guess.
Sure.
Then I can reach out to Paul too and just verify what he wants, or what his concerns would be if the board wants me to look into it more, or to say, we've helped. We don't think it's a good idea to send our grader to go work on private roads. So, anyways.
I think that would be a really good idea, because our Forest Lakes residents may not, even though it is a unique situation, we may be opening up a can of worms on why didn't you help me when I asked for your help?
So I'll go with that guidance and I'll reach out to Paul and see what all that, and then I'll line copy you guys in an email. But I'm taking up too much of the public comment
Yeah,
portion.
so we can open it up for public comments now.
I would suggest we extend the public comment. It's 6:09, so, open it up for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
For the people who showed up for that.
Well, that's just on non-agenda items right now.
Okay,
Yeah, so I guess.
So there are some newer and upcoming, construction companies that are right here in between Bicedo, Lyman. And they are very young, very ambitious, aggressive, and I'm hearing that they're throwing out cheaper prices for private jobs than McCarty. McCarty does a great job. But there are other options for people, especially the private people who may not have the dollar amount to maintain when there is a catastrophic event such as the floods that we've recently had. Especially since they live here, you're not gonna have demob and mob-in costs. So there are other options that are more affordable for the residents if you guys can't get to them to help them. And I would be happy to provide you guys with a list of people that are here that may not appear on Google. But they have the machinery and they have the capability to help those residences at a more affordable cost.
You want name and address on her for the recording?
She doesn't live in district. I
Oh,
think she's a
I
resident.
see.
I'll give you guys my card. And I'm happy to hook you up with different smaller contractors who are just as willing to help. And maybe more readily available.
and depending on circumstances, that sounds more like a job for Kubota with a rear blade in the bucket, than to do a driveway, yeah.
Sometimes box blade and a simple tractor
Mhm.
is a better resolution than calling in a contractor with a motor grader or a lot of things that a skid steer and a bucket.
Right,
Who was speaking?
Daily Abernathy, I handle machine sales for Caterpillar.
Oh, okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Get it open to the public.
Any other public comments?
Yeah, any other public comments
And
Non-agenda.
non-agenda items?
Who's that?
Non-agenda items.
Yeah, this is Lacey with Clear Networks. We are currently putting in the fiber at Forest Lakes. And my agenda or non-agenda item would be to ask the board if we could have an extension on the moratorium to the 15th of November to finish the lower Forest Lakes portion of the underground install.
So Lacey, did you say an extension to November 15th or beyond that?
To November 15th.
Thank you.
It would extend it an additional 2 weeks. And what this will allow us to do is, like I said, finish the lower Forest Lakes portion. That would include the remaining work on Spruce Way, Cub Drive, Mesa Drive, and then the few crossings on Forest Lake Drive between Mountain Oak and Pine Valley Road.
I would say weather permitting, I don't see a problem with that.
I'm fine with that. This is Julie.
Is there a reason to not, from your guys, from Daryl or Gordon's perspective?
We have snow coming in on the 17th. I would be worried about heaving and boiling. That's typically why we stop all digging in November. But
You're not recommending that, Daryl?
I'm not saying yeah, and I'm not saying no. It would be weather permitting.
We can look
My
at it on
best-
we can definitely look at it on a week-to-week basis. We can touch base, Wednesday of the week prior, look at the 10-day forecast. If we need to button up, that'll allow us 3 working days to get things buttoned up as well. That's what we've been doing in Archuleta County, is working on a week-to-week basis after the posted moratorium, weather permitting.
And Lacey, this is Stephanie again. I would just also wonder how you guys are gonna mitigate some of the issues that have been caused by prior work before we extend it. Like I know there's a lot of culverts that are filled up because of the work that was done like early in the summer, and even late last fall. And I would like to make sure that, you know, those things are cleared up because with winter coming on, snow melt's gonna be an issue.
What we can do on that one, Stephanie, I know there was an issue with a culvert at San Moritz and Mountain Oak. I should have had crews up there today or tomorrow to correct that single culvert. On work in the past, I can't speak to that, but I can tell you that if we do have an issue, I would like to do a walkthrough either with Corey and or Daryl to make sure that we have a sign off going into winter months and then address anything as it arises for the next year.
I have one more thing.
Yeah.
I would, if we did give it, or if y'all did give permission, I would advise to make sure that if there is any problems that occur alongside the roads, heaving or boiling, that, that would be an issue they would have to fix and repair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That seems reasonable. Can we do that, written extension with these, parameters in place? I assume that that was permit in place. So can we have regulations for extension on that permit?
I don't see why we couldn't.
I think that would make sense.
Yeah. And would there be, with that heaving, is that something we'll see pretty much right away, or is it something that could pop up in the spring? Quite a while down the road?
Usually happens later in the winter when stuff starts thawing and freezing and thawing.
Yeah, so we just have to make sure we have enough time to inspect, I guess, to make sure.
Yeah.
There was no damage in there as well if we were to do.
And I mean, additionally, I mean, Mark would have to be the one if they was to hit a water line or something like that, would be out there fixing that water line in the cold.
It's a legitimate concern. I will say that Ben has been doing a great job of staying 2 to 3 feet deep. I will say that his crew's doing a good job on the sides of the roads with reshaping things. But if you know anything, it could be one wrong move and you know, you could have a spot in your road or something that will be there for months. So something to think about.
If I can interject, if the board would like to have more discussion on this item, the board can choose to add it to the agenda.
Yeah, I feel like this should have been an agenda item instead of a
But
public.
it kind of came in
It's the first time in here.
No, I get it.
after
So I
the other
guess-
was done.
I'll make a motion to add it to the agenda.
Okay, so when you go to approve the agenda, that you'll state that we're gonna add it in under
C or letter C.
Yeah,
5, and it would be 0.50 G.
G.
okay,
I'm sorry.
okay. So we'll table that for now. Come back to it. Any other non-agenda items? Public comment?
Did you hear that, Lacey? They added you to the agenda?
I sure did. Thank you very much. Would you like me to stay on the call for it to come up on the agenda item or just wait for a follow-up?
Close to the end, right?
Is there any other information you were going to be adding, Lacey, or
No, sir.
that feel like we can just notify?
Yeah.
Yeah, Daryl or myself can reach out to you tomorrow, or you can stop by the office.
I'll do that. I'll swing by in the morning.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
So, and I think no other public comments on non-agenda items? Okay. Then we will move on, and I'll move to approve the agenda with the addition of Clear Networks discussion being added to 5G.
Did you just?
This is
make a
Julie. I
motion?
make a motion to approve the agenda with the addition of 5G.
Go ahead.
This is Lynn, I'll second it.
I'm sorry, Lynn, did you already make a motion? I may have missed that.
I didn't say that word, those words, so I'm sorry.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye,
Aye.
Were we gonna do roll call?
we did.
We will, yeah, for votes. I guess.
Okay.
Or
But
does
you
that
can't
include
just say
motion?
all those opposed. No, we all voted aye.
Yeah,
Nobody's opposed.
okay, unanimous, approved the agenda. So now we're moving on to approval of the previous minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the previous full meeting of the board from September.
This is Michael, I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, it passes unanimously. Now approval of the special meeting minutes on October 1st.
This is Stephanie. I'll make a motion to approve the special meeting minutes from October 1st.
And I'll second Jim Moore.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, unanimous vote. Now moving on to the financials. So September 2025 disbursements of $179,288.02.
This one requires a motion, right?
Yes.
Treasurer Jim Moore, I'll make a motion to approve the disbursements for September.
This is Lynn, I'll second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, unanimous. Now moving on to the overview of Colorado Trust bank accounts.
Yep, it is in your packet. Our interest rates are still strong in my opinion, and I don't really have anything to add unless you guys have questions on it.
No questions?
No questions.
I'm good.
That one, no motions required for that.
No.
Okay,
Correct.
so now just the financial statement.
It's just an overview, and then the financial statements are added in just so the board can review the financial statements. Unless you have any questions on it, I don't have anything to point out on it at this time.
I do. This is Julie. I think it might be a good idea because it does take a lot of forethought to go through this entire budget to understand it. And would like to see possibly, like Corey, you have done on the budget, which is just a summary of general water, wastewater, maybe as the first page, so the residents can just look and see where we are rather than trying to understand what all of this is. I think it would be a value to put it in front of the financial statement.
Because a summary page of this is where this account's sitting at percentage wise, or
You showed us a summary page when you did the draft budget of every fund. So
Yeah.
it was like, I don't know, 9, 10 items, something like that.
Oh, just where we're at for the year in usage
Yeah.
of this.
Per month, yeah, it'd be like just a summary of everything so residents can look at it.
okay, I think I know what you're asking for, and I'll put something together and send it to you to see if that's what you're wanting.
Okay. I think it'd be
Question.
valuable.
Do you have this in a format where you're able to do that, to just create a summary page that goes in and fix?
I think Cassell can do that. I'm not 100% sure. Shauna spends more time in Cassell than I do. I think it's an option. So if we could pull just a simple report out of Cassell, I'll send that to the budget committee and see if that's what the budget committee.
That sounds great. I have to echo Julie. For all my clients, I do accounting, and all my clients,
that see something that's massively more condensed than literally line by line everything. So
Well, and this was a thing that was pulled out of the audit. The entire board seeing the entire financial package.
mhm.
So that's why we started putting the entire financial package in
So
there.
they
And I don't
recommend-
disagree with like a summary page, and I'm pretty sure Casell can do that.
Awesome. That's very welcome.
If not, I can build something in Excel.
Okay, thank you.
Getting good at it.
All
All right.
right, so moving on to the staff reports for district manager.
The front entrance is going. It's been a little aggravating. I know Daryl's been aggravated with the timelines that keep getting moved around. But we are slated for Monday, right? Currently, they are wanting to do both entrances at the same time, which would entail closing down the front entrance for almost an entire day.
Wow.
I don't think that's a good idea. Because we'd have to push everyone to the very far north entrance, which that road's not really designed to handle that amount of traffic that comes through the front entrance.
Any traffic.
What if we say no, is there any?
I sent them an email, and he hasn't responded back yet. So as soon as I get some more information on them addressing what my concerns are, I could better advise, but that's what they're wanting to do right now, and I'm pushing back on it.
Is that the county or the contract?
That's the contractor.
Okay.
What is the cure time for driving on freshly laid asphalt?
They said that if they get it done in the morning, it could be opened up in the afternoon. So from 4 to 6 hours, everything that their own I've read says a 24-hour cure time, but I don't necessarily agree with that from previous projects I've done in the town of Bayfield. It does need to cure. You can't just lay it and then expect to drive on it. It needs a few hours to cool down and really start hardening up.
What obligations do they have to support if they tell us it goes too fast, I guess, and we open it up, then is it their responsibility if it doesn't cure correctly?
That will be my next question, depending on their answer to my last email.
I would also wonder about traffic control. That means we have to have people, you're probably gonna have to.
I would pretty much demand that the county give us every sign they had to
Yeah,
post it.
I don't like it. either.
I think it
That's-
is.
I think that'd be
a bad
very
idea.
bad and very risky coming off of that road if everyone's going down there and it gets congested.
Well, and making the right-hand turn. If you're northbound onto that road, is everybody swings out into the southbound lane to make the turn. I don't know that that's a great idea either.
Yeah. So
I don't think the bus can meet going up and down that road either.
that's one of the other things I said to them too, is that absolutely not gonna work for the buses. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, worst case scenario then, if the contractor is not going to play nice in the sandbox, we could at least get the south entrance done and then the north entrance done in the spring. But we would need that in writing.
Okay.
Do we know what, is this a hot plan issue? I mean, are they still,
Uh,
are they still making?
The
asphalt
plant's
now?
still open as of now.
Okay.
It ain't gonna be open very much longer with these colder temperatures we're starting to see.
Yeah, that's. concern.
The next thing, the community center project is nearly wrapped up. They were up there cleaning up some of the items that I didn't want left up there. They were gonna leave a bunch of broken wood chips and insulation everywhere. I'm like, no, you need to get a rake up there and clean this up. And by the end of the week, all those pillars are gonna be hauled off. I told them that they could go ahead and leave that big concrete block that was up here there because their machine can't hold it or their machine can't pick it up, and I don't want to pay for them to bring another bigger piece of equipment out and move it. They can stay there until we start demolishing the concrete, in my opinion.
What, I'm sorry, Corey, what is it that they would leave?
They pulled up one of the concrete piers to see how big they were to get rid of the metal braces that were on them. And it's huge, it's like a 4x4x8 concrete block, that's probably almost about 7,000 pounds. And the machine,
But they quoted us to demo that and they knew what was involved. They should be removed.
that part of the concrete, we cut all the concrete out.
They cut the concrete out?
The pier I'm talking about is, it's part of the concrete framework of the building. They pulled one out just to see how big it was.
We took it out of the bid to save money, Julie.
Okay. Are they going to secure it somehow then if it's a hazard to anyone? Cause
It's not a hazard, it's just a big, think of it like a cinder block, it's just a really big square piece of concrete.
okay,
They pulled it out at my request because I was curious, because they were asking me about the metal braces that are essentially set inside the concrete, bolted down. And I was trying to get the metal pieces up so they weren't there and it didn't look as tacky as it does.
so what is,
Push it off to the side.
It's pushed up and out of the way, it ain't gonna hurt
I'm fine with that.
nothing.
Yep, I have to.
But that portion of the project wasn't necessarily part of tearing out and taking all the wood and insulation and glass and all that stuff out. That was part of the concrete stuff that we had them remove from the bid.
Is there a hole in the ground?
No, they,
I'm fine with that.
Agreed.
the,
Well, there's no streaker or hot smoker falls in a hole. I want that.
does that make sense, Julie?
yeah, I think so.
And then, we got the final approval from the, Colorado Land Conservation Board for our drought management plan. We were awarded $37,500 to cover that, and then, the matching funds of that can be, is gonna be, $12,500, but a lot of what they consider matching funds, it would be the time that Mark, myself, and Daryl invest in building this, so we should have very little out-of-pocket expenses on the Forest Lakes behalf. However, with that being said, it's a reimbursement grant, so we spend the money, send them the receipt, and then they send us a check back. So you'll see a check to them, but we're being reimbursed that back. And then, we're near completion with the Bennett Myers ditch water rights and the associated dry up plan. Mark and I had a meeting with Whitewater engineers. We have to do a little bit more field work to figure out what's currently being irrigated over there and what's not, and get that to them. And then we'll have to sit down with water order and draft up some dry up covenants. And then we're probably gonna make some people mad. Unfortunately, it's the nature of the beast. Part of their agreement and the water rights that they gave to us, there is gonna be some farmers that are irrigating a portion of land, unfortunately, is gonna be told they can't water it with water from the Bennett Myers. So,
Well, that's part of us, or you guys, the district taking over those water
yeah,
controls, is sorting out that ditch specifically. And so it's gonna happen, but I know people get upset about water out here. It's nice to know, like, there's a governing authority, we're gonna do it the right way from here on out, and it's all being, done legally, the right way.
and unless there's any further questions about anything on my report.
There's a move to
Yeah.
the
We didn't discuss moving the December meeting.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. I'm sorry. So currently we have a state statute deadline on certifying our mill levy and all that stuff. Our regular scheduled meeting is on the 16th, so in an effort to, save everybody some time, we can move the regular scheduled meeting to the 15th, which is a Monday, and cancel the 16th regular meeting.
I'm good with that.
No objection here.
No objection, Stephanie?
I don't work that day.
Perfect.
I'm okay with it.
Thanks for reminding me. I totally forgot to ask about that.
Sure.
Same time?
Same time.
Okay.
That is it.
Okay, so Director of Administration.
All right. So we completed the preference sheet for the fiscal year 26 employee benefits. I began working on the workman's compensation renewal for FY 26 and the property and liability renewal. Entered all the new rates for water and sewer into Cassell. Barb and I began a course on PDF remediation for the website. If you remember, that was an add-on that we made a few months ago to the website to make sure that we were meeting that compliance with the state, to make sure that all of our PDFs are compliant with the ADA. I will say it's a lot more in depth than what they sold Corey and I on. They made it seem like it was going to be a breeze. So it's a little more to it than that. So Corey and I are learning some things that we didn't know we were going to need to learn. Doing it. So we started the course on that. We continued file retention. Minutes were transcribed from the 2 previous board meetings. We had 430 paperless customers. Now, we took a pretty big jump in our notification subscription. I think us really pushing that on everything that we say and asking people to sign up and us being consistent with notifications has helped. We're to 267 subscribers. So I think we had like a 25 member jump this month. We sent out 54 friendly reminders, 10 shut off, collected and eat. And we released 2 liens this month. So that means that we collected some outstanding money. So, and that's all I have unless you have some questions.
Question.
I don't have any. Thank you, Shauna.
Uh-huh.
Daryl, Director of Roads, Rec, Open Spaces and Maintenance.
Yeah, we brought plow trucks in for greasing, getting ready for winter. We started fixing those up. We've been blowing out all the water lines in the front down here for mitigating, or sorry, the sprinklers. We're blowing them all out. And the only other thing that I really have that's important I'm going to touch on is just the front. Why it's taking so long, which he kind of did. But another thing, like to ease some of the comments that keep saying that it's just going to break and it's just going to be messed up like it was the first time. The first time it was never done right. We pulled everything out of there, completely redone it. As a matter of fact, in the south entrance, they had 0 sub base in there. All it's ever been covered up with was 3/4. So there's the reason why it never held the first time. So, but we're doing it right this time. So, other than that, we had no accidents in September. All trucks are in good shape, running order. We have 2 plows. Wings are not working.
Okay.
We have 2 plows. The wings are not working, and all equipment is operational.
Can I ask what employees were at Viceda with you?
It was me, John Fox, and Eric Vaughn, Top Kurgan. Yep.
Again, since we got a really big meeting, like I really want to extend my thanks.
Thank you.
for what you guys did. Yeah. Seeing you out there, like I was proud to see you guys out there. Yeah, it was pretty amazing.
I'll pass it along.
Yeah, yeah, for me too. I saw you guys up there.
Agreed. Thank you.
Hey, Daryl, the skid steer that had to be repaired, how does trash get into the fuel line? Or is that just,
Not
Is that
literally trash, just like dirt, uh, dirt particles and rocks. We had a previous employee that, was left the cap off for quite a while, and I guess that just, I guess he ran the tank low enough that he sucked that trash up. Doug did. Was nothing that Doug did. This was a previous employer. I guess it finally paid his toll, and he got it down low enough. But all that's been cleaned. Tank was cleaned out, and fuel lines were cleaned out.
okay, thank you.
Yep.
I do have one other question, because I know we're only doing a certain amount of paving on the front entrance. So we have the apron. Is that included in our footage, or is that part of the county road?
The apron is is included in our footage.
Okay, because that looks like it's gonna take up an awful lot of footage, right? Are we gonna be able to go in further, like you had anticipated?
Yes.
Yeah. It looks bigger than it actually is going to be, because there's.
I think we actually went shorter than what she had on the engineered drawings, but it's actually shorter. I mean, if you look at the stop sign, you look at the entrance and the approach, she had 92 feet or 92 feet. I think we ended up going with 84, 85 foot from lane to lane, or end of lane to end of lane at the front. I mean, we could have went longer, but there was no need. There's plenty of turn, plenty of descent and approach.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
No question for me. Thank you, Daryl.
Forgot your,
Oh, sorry. And also we have the trunk or treat this weekend, Saturday, October the 25th. It will start at 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the bus stop. We'll be doing the candy and everybody dressing up and the trucks all decorated, or, the candy handed out. And then we'll have Katie's barbecue. There'll be catering, or they'll be serving. And then also we'll have a double feature movie. Everybody wanted it. We're having it. The Spookly the Square Pumpkin for the kids, and then Sleepy Hollow for the adults at 8:15.
Did you say Saturday?
Yes.
Thank you.
thank you for doing that, Daryl.
Where's the movie gonna be shown?
The movies that are gonna be shown are for the kids are Spookly
I
the,
mean, where at?
oh, right here. Yep.
Okay. Water and wastewater.
Well, so in September, we produced 3.6 million gallons of drinking water, which is roughly half of what we were doing in July and August for the subdivision. Treated 1.8 on the wastewater. As everything is trending down since people are not watering nearly as much. One of the things that we're working on now is in September, we prepped for it, and we got it done, was our second event on the PFAS testing of the 3 wells that got drilled for this independent environmental study that we're doing. And I just got the results back actually today. And they seem positive to me because 2 of the wells were non-detects, even though sampling in the spring did show detections. I think we might be on to something here, but this particular study is going to wind up. I got to have my summary done and all the invoicing done by December 31st. So I'm going to wrap this up. There's 2 wells, well 1 and well 3, which we're going to do a pump test on. and try to get some sort of estimate of what they might be able to produce. And then we'll see what kind of pathway forward we might have if we need one. This particular grant's probably going to end up being somewhere around $75,000 to $80,000 by the time it's said and done. Let's see. Over at River Ranch, we had one of our pumps. Actually, it wasn't a pump in our lift station, which actually is a station that takes the raw sewage and pumps it all the way over to our shop area, which then it goes into our wastewater plant. We lost a check valve on that. We've got that repaired. Unfortunately, we discovered that there is an alternator that has given its last breath of air, and it's a 40-year-old piece of equipment. So we're trying to find some replacement parts for it. Currently, we'll probably be running one pump manually in lead for a month, and then another pump in lead for a month, or weekly. We haven't decided yet. But anyway, that's going on. The other big thing that's kind of happening is our generator project. It looks like our electrician's going to be here Monday morning bright and early to put in our ATSs. Once we get those in, then we can get on the schedule for DVL to come down and do the required startup on those things. And once that's done, we will have auxiliary power at our booster stations and our water treatment plant, our wastewater lift station at the shop, and the shop itself, and our well field, which is kind of the goal of what that particular project was about, since never really had that option before. We processed 97 locate requests last month, which is a significant addition to your normal duties that you're trying to get done in a month. Those are primarily related to the Clear Networks project. Some of those requests were not too long. Some of them were entire streets. So, bear in mind when you see this on my report, it's not like 97 one little locates. It could be an entire street.
And is that mainly for their backbone line, or is that for service lines too?
Well, they're sending lines up one side and then they'll cross the road and send them up and down from there.
So it's not going to people's houses? It's
Not yet. Well, there are some going to houses on Samaritz already.
Okay.
They're digging those by crews, it looks like to me, by hand from. I will say that their boxes are in many cases within 2 feet of our meter pits on the corners of every lots where all the utility, it's becoming very crowded in some of those places. So not happy about that, but we're not the only utility either. So we did get 22 meter installations done last month too. So hopefully our read and reread list will be smaller than it has been in the last couple months. We had 2 leaks that were discovered last month. One's already repaired and one is under repair at this point. And that's about what I got. It's important.
Any questions?
No questions, thanks, Mark.
Thanks. Okay, so moving on to board
Thank
action.
you, Mark.
Julie's.
I think she said thanks, Mark.
I just thanked Mark, that's all.
So starting with the resident concern discussion.
Yeah, so we received an email asking this to be placed on the agenda. You want me to read the email?
I can do it too if you don't.
This was sent October 8th, 2025. I would like to have an issue placed on the agenda for October's monthly meeting. I have asked the board to please add this concern. I would like to get information and have a discussion regarding the cutting of trees on Forest Lakes property off the evacuation route behind the houses on Little Bear Drive. What is to be done with the trees? What happens to the tops of the trees that are not picked up? There are still large piles of those top trees from the clearing 2 years ago. Also, I understand it was one resident that benefited from the piles of the cut wood from this summer's Upper Pine fire cutting lessons. I am also told that it was an Forest Lakes board member. The Forest Lakes policy manual rule listed below will further put into question my concern of one benefited resident / board member of the pile of cut wood. Rule 4-15 advantages. Directors shall not use the district or the service on the board of directors for personal advantage, privilege, or personal gain, or for the advantage / privilege or personal gain of their friends or community members. To answer what's being done with the downed trees, part of the agreement that Upper Pine has with Cascade Timbers is Cascade Timbers gets to keep all the wood that they want to help offset the cost of the contract. So to keep the price low for Upper Pine, they're taking what Cascade Timber wants, what the logging company wants. As far as the top trees that are still, the piles that are there, Upper Pine is burning them when they can and when weather permits. We had a really dry summer. Obviously, we don't want fires back there. So typically they try to burn 1 or 2 piles in the winter. I'm not, Paul normally notifies me a day or 2 days in advance so we can post some stuff on the website saying, hey, there's going to be some controlled burning happening. And as far as a board member being accused of benefiting from this, it has been proven to be false. I think what the mix-up is I actually had a conversation with Paul Valdez today. Somebody got the name Julie and automatically assumed it was President Julie of the board, when really it was a resident within Forest Lakes by the name of Julie. That Paul Valdez asked me if he can go back there and get some of the wood that they cut to take to this resident. I didn't know the resident's name till this morning. Daryl's met one other person back there to get firewood, and that's all that has been permitted to go back here as of right now. So I don't know what else needs to be said on that, or if the board has any questions. I can preferably say none of the board members got any of that fire.
Yeah, and I think speaking on Julie, our board members behalf, because we were made aware of this, I guess, to kind of try to run things down with Real Corey. She has a pellet stove. She doesn't use wood. So she would have no need for it. So to further back that up, yeah, it's not. Different Julie makes sense.
And just to just in case you don't know who Paul Valdez is.
Paul Valdez is one of the captains of Upper Pine. Wildfire
prevention.
Wildfire,
sorry.
Yeah. He's in charge of the wildfire side of things.
I would like to say something and caution residents to not be accusatory until they have full details of everything, because this was not fun for me. I didn't appreciate it. Even though that information was provided to that resident, they still did not believe it. And I would just caution everyone, and other residents were coming in and complaining at the office about it. Please just make sure that you have the proper information and your facts straight. That's all I have to say about that.
I just like, what's been done a couple of times when it's concerning district property, how a notification has gone out, whether Facebook or whatever, like, hey, there's wood available.
And I've chosen not to do that yet, just because of how dry it's been, and I don't want people back there with chainsaw
No, for sure.
and doing things. Last year, we had a little bit more moisture, and we actually had available staff to keep people, or keep a person back there to keep people from not going where they're supposed to, and just really nearly cutting trees down.
Yeah.
This year, we didn't necessarily have the staff to.
Yeah, it was exceptional summer, but I liked it when that happened, and I, as a board member, like, I would like to see that continue.
And
And possibly go to the people in the community limited on funds, can't go out and get their own wood, you know,
absolutely.
start looking for people like that that we can help out.
And it will be open, any firewood that is cut within district, CCFM has been, for the most part, hauling it down to the, curtain burner for people to come get.
Pretty much all of it.
I was gonna have Daryl's crew pull what we had up there, but obviously, there were some other things that took precedence over that, so we didn't pull it out. I didn't feel comfortable opening it up to the public to go back there, because we didn't have the staff, and I didn't wanna risk. Not everybody has, spark arresters on their chainsaws and, carries a fire extinguisher and a shovel with them like they're supposed to.
And is there some liability should somebody be out there cutting wood and they get hurt?
I mean, there's liability of anything you do.
Well, not to mention that the, having residents going back on the emergency route would not be a good thing to open it up. It could cause some issues, I would think. Just my
Well, yeah,
opinion.
and that's why we staffed it last year, to have somebody out there to keep them from going where they're not supposed to be going, and they just really nearly start cutting trees down.
And my comment was directed at just any firewood, like over here, that's taken from district property. You know, it could be sent out, notified the public, and distributed to people that need it or are in need. I appreciate the work.
I'd like to add, in defense of Julie and in general, that, and this is for the record, residents need to be cautious about filing a false accusation, raising it to the level of a board meeting agenda item, and defaming somebody. It's reasonable to file a complaint, ask for an investigation, but when you start throwing names around and identifying specific individuals, you're crossing a dangerous line. And defamation is not something that should be taken lightly, especially in light of the fact that other residents were coming out of the woodwork echoing these charges or hearing them and complaining about them. So I would like that in the minutes.
I think anytime we put ourselves in a public position, we're gonna get attacked, and we've all seen it on Facebook, whether the board members are embezzling this month or we're only taking care of ourselves. People need to realize that we're their neighbors, and we volunteered to make this community better, sustain, or help it grow, and not to pad pockets, because it sure doesn't do that.
Public comments,
Yep.
or is the board done?
I'm done.
Do we, yeah, we can open it up for public comments. Anyone has, Gary? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, this is not a resident concern, but accommodation. And Mark, you mentioned a couple of leaks. I'm assuming that was within the.
Sorry, Carrie, it was for this topic.
Oh, well, it's not a concern, it's accommodation.
Oh. Sorry. The public comments, I was saying was for the resident concern.
Well, it's not a concern, it's accommodation.
Okay.
Sorry, I think what Lynn's trying to say is we're asking for public comments on this specific agenda item that we're talking about now.
Yeah.
the only one that you brought up.
Yes.
Okay, well, I have no comment.
Yeah.
But I would like to make a commendation at some point.
Okay. So any public comments on the resident concern?
I think they tracked it down. And if nobody has a comment, I think hopefully that's a settled issue.
Okay, next, bus stop location and plan discussion.
Yeah, so, Julie sent me an email, President Julie sent me an email about potentially moving the location of the bus stop. Before we kind of get into that discussion about relocating the location of the bus stop, you'll see a computer sketch of what we're planning at doing where the bus stop is now, where, the Director of Transportation, Jeff, here, and I, and Daryl sat down and talked about, we have enough room to actually barricade off an actual dedicated bus lane and put in some barriers that better protect the kids. As a matter of fact,
We already ordered those.
they should be,
Like concrete barriers?
no, they're water filled barriers, so we,
Okay,
if we needed to move them, we can move them with these. You just pull a plug and then you can move them by hand.
Okay.
The concern with moving the bus stop that Jeff and I both have is we don't want the buses going on hills and trying to make turns up hills when it's icy. And I've seen some comments about the bus stop being moved up here. It's one of the last places to get plowed.
It's the very last place to get one.
I don't know if Jeff, if you had anything you want to add to that, but I don't think moving the bus stop is a feasible idea.
So my suggestion, just to elaborate on that, Corey's comment, was to move the bus stop up towards the mailbox in the parking area, to have it away from that congested intersection. He had concerns about moving the bus stop, which could probably happen. It may take a little bit, but I think getting the kids away from that congested, busy street is the best option. And another resident suggested that the bus do the U shape around the office and pick the kids up in the soccer field area. That's another option, gets them away from that congested area. I don't feel that water barriers with a car slipping in ice is going to protect a child. I feel if we're going to do anything like that, then it needs to be concrete. This is just my opinion, but I really don't think that that is the best option to keep the bus stop there with this road change.
I will say those water filled barriers, they're traffic graded just like the concrete ones are, and once they're fully topped off, they are.
They will mess your car up.
It's gonna stop the car.
Your car won't go through them and potentially hit a kid. Cause you're
Well,
messing
so
up your cars and the realm,
It's gonna be the barriers,
the buses.
the bus,
And then the
and
kids.
the door is gonna be facing the waiting hut, or whatever you wanna call it. The waiting area. So,
Transportation.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Unless we have somebody that cuts through like they did this morning, but we've measured and kind of looked at best flow, and if everybody, which, you know, that's a big statement, parks where they're supposed to, and unloads the kids where they're supposed to, the kids are really protected going to the door of the bus. And that's the goal. And I think we all can see, since we've moved stuff around during construction, how confused people get. And it takes a while to get people retrained on where the drops are and how, it's just, man, they're not paying attention or whatever. So the barrier thing, I think will work great. We'll just line buses end to end. And we're not gonna leave enough room on the door side of the bus for a car to pull through there, like what happened this morning. And we talked about putting some barriers on the loading side of the bus to keep traffic, to mark up where people park instead of parking right up. So there'll be protection on basically both sides of the bus. As far as, I mean, the hill gets slippery coming down from both directions, the Forest Lakes Drive, I believe, and then the big hill coming down right to the point of the bus. In all our years, we haven't had anybody slide into the bus, but they have slid through that stop sign and going down that hill sometimes and don't realize how icy it could be, but we encourage people on the district side when they call to park in that parking lot and not drop kids off in front of the buses, because that is where the big hazard is they stop, kids pile out, other cars are coming. And on icy days, we've had some close calls. But again, the further up in the Forest Lakes we go, the more likely it is our bus might get stuck or, yeah, so. It's a nice turnaround where, you know, it leads right back out to 501. You know, it kind of is a good central point. We looked up by the mailboxes and there was issues up there too. Like what door, what side we load on, what we can protect, etc. So both areas aren't perfect, but the goal is to protect the door and funnel the kids in a protected area. So
How wide is the two-way traffic driving lane for traffic now coming up Alpine Forest, crossing over and then going up Forest Lakes Drive? How wide is that lane after the bus stop is installed?
There should be ample, and I'd have to go measure it again, but I think last time we just did a rough step, there'll be 12-foot lanes.
12-foot lanes, so 24 feet.
right.
And it was a 10-foot lane for the bus, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you gonna move the shelter, capture any more land, or?
The
is
shelter
it not
doesn't need to
needed?
move. It doesn't, nothing
Okay.
needs to be moved, nothing needs to be added.
Plenty of swing for the buses, everybody.
Yeah.
I think that's what the most important part is unloading them safely on the right side, away from traffic,
And then
and having the right swing for the bus.
Jeff and I stood out there and we actually had the buses swing a little wider and park a little differently to see
Yeah.
if we could accommodate. And we think this is a good plan to move forward.
And a
Corey?
lot of public concern was like that being a traffic jam.
Yeah.
But now with the barriers, continued traffic,
Continued
even
traffic will
during
be
pickup.
allowed to go because the bus lane will have its dedicated lane.
Right, so we won't have to put our red stop signs out. One concern is with the two-way traffic there's gonna be people that stop in that area and try to let their kids out. And so it's just gonna be a coaching.
Yeah.
And I've had people literally park right in front of the bus shed and wait, and the bus pulls up behind them and they just sit there. So it's like, so it's a training thing and we're 95% of the people do exactly what we ask them to do on it.
Yeah.
There's folks that are running late, et cetera, and if we see somebody coming, we wait for them in the morning.
Is there a possibility of a no stopping or standing sign?
Right there, that's a good idea.
Or is that,
Yeah, there is, I don't mean to cut you off, but I think Julie was trying to ask a question too.
oh, sorry.
Yeah, the question, Corey, was how are we going to have traffic, two-way traffic right there where the bus is, and how is the bus going to be getting in and out with, that's now a third lane of traffic at that intersection?
They'll come in from the south side and we have plenty of room to turn in and pull all the way to the north side ditch almost, and then get another bus in behind there. And right now it's two buses. We used to run 3 buses in there, but there's plenty of room for the kids on too.
And answer part of your question, Julie, I've been directing traffic in the morning these past couple of days, just to, help prevent some of these incidents that are happening. When the buses typically are pulling out to leave, but there's hardly any traffic.
Yeah, everybody's gone by then.
A lot of the traffic is, people dropping their kids off for the bus and then the ones, trying to get to work. From my observations, when the bus is actually starting to pull out, there hasn't hardly been one or two cars at that point.
So it's more them trying to exit out of there to the left, right?
Yeah,
To get to 501.
Yeah, they shouldn't have any problem pulling out, turning left and heading to 501.
Right. And if they park the right way in the parking lot, they could pull right out and take a right next to the buses and then turn down the north entrance or exit side. It'll be the exit, not the entrance now.
The exit side.
Yeah, the exit side. And there's plenty of room. We looked at it pretty good.
Okay,
Yeah.
but we're open to making change if need be.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the stuff's mobile.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and just so everybody knows, this wasn't like a last minute thought. Jeff and I have been talking about this since this project started coming to fruition, or however you want to say it, fruition. And there's been a lot of thought and observation and meetings on this. This isn't this is not an afterthought.
Yeah, there might have.
No, I get that. I just want to make sure.
No, I'm just making that that comment for the public's sake, because there were some comments where people didn't think that we were planning to sell. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
If it helps, the state of Colorado Department of Education makes every single bus stop be measured and be approved by superintendent of schools or designee, was that's me. And so there's lines of sight measurement on curves and steepness and all kinds of stuff. So this being a giant, but it's our biggest bus stop in the district, obviously. So, it's so we want to get it right. We want to keep the kids safe. And there is lots of traffic moving in and out all over the place. So we hear you. And, I'm glad it's mobile so we can, tweak stuff if we have to. But,
Really appreciate you coming.
yeah,
Really helps.
yes.
Yeah, thank you.
I live here too. So.
I had one more question. Is it just straight water that's in those, or does it have some
Oh,
kind of?
Or enough of sand and,
It's not going to be straight water.
or antifreeze, one of the two.
Okay.
Any public comments on the bus stop location and plan? Okay. So moving on to the road closure of Mesa and Forest Lakes Drive discussion. I know we've got 5 emails came in for that, but I feel like should we do public comments of people here first, or should we discuss it? Or
I think we should do the board discussion.
okay,
And then however you want to do public comments.
okay.
But anyways,
Well, because it was something that was raised by someone reaching out to Julie. Like, I know there's been a lot more discussion of it than that, but
however
Is
you
that-
want to proceed with it, sir. So first off, I'll kick it off.
okay.
When we started talking about this, I kind of took it upon myself to start doing some research on when the road was closed, when it was open. I was given a bunch of different dates, and I've done some very extensive research through our old minutes, old directors' reports or managers' reports, and I may have missed something, I don't know, but I can't find any mention of when that road was closed. I found a 2008 petition when,
To close it again.
the close it again. There was, a map that shows that road not being a through street. We found a map in our records that says it was revised in 2009. Showing it's a through road. The only evidence I can find in any of the stuff that I read, and again, I may have missed something, is that road's always been open from what I found. I'm not saying it hasn't been closed. I understand there's evidence of the road being closed.
It was.
Can we please withhold public comments or?
My only concern with closing it where well, I have a couple of concerns about closing it where I believe you guys were talking about closing it, which is right at Forest Lakes and Mesa, right? Where it intersects. I don't necessarily think that is fair to all of Unit 5 because you're cutting out some of the folks in Unit 5 by closing it there. I think if we are gonna do anything, we need to do it further up on, what is it, Pine Top or Pine Cone?
Pine Top and San
Pine Top
or Mesa.
And
And Mesa,
yeah,
if we want to close it. And, not call it a closure, let's call it what it is. It's
Traffic diversion.
a, traffic diversion.
and
I would make a request that these are gates that my staff can open, because if these are gates that can't open from inside the plow truck, I'm highly against it because of safety reasons, trying to back those big plow trucks up. And I don't think, my snowplow drivers should be getting out in the middle of a snowstorm to physically open gates.
yeah. All right.
And, I mean, honestly, to me, I have nothing to gain or lose with it being open or closed, so I'm very impartial to this. The one thing that I would also recommend, if the board so chooses, in closing this off, potentially consider the folks in Unit 1 that are right there in that area. Maybe do a public poll or something of that nature, but that's totally the discretion of the board.
You said
Yeah, so I can jump in from there because I came in quite a bit and talked to you about it quite a bit because I've had a number of people raise the concern to me. And living there, I see it firsthand, but really it's the people who've been here for 20 years coming to me and telling me, and me talking to them about what their experience was. And I know we've got a few in the room who will speak to that when we open to public comments. But I think first, I think you deserve credit for, you did look through about 13 years of minutes, looking for any notation of when the road opened, closed. There's indications that they completed road work on all of Unit 5, but it doesn't specify roads. To me, the lack of any information is a red flag in the, because the concerns that have been raised to me from the residents have been, it was open, it was closed initially, then it was opened only for emergency stuff, potentially, then it was potentially reclosed, but then they opened it permanently. I think there's a lot of the people who were here during that, I think, can speak to it better. But I do think that not finding anything on that when these things were going on is kind of questionable, and why wasn't that ever discussed, especially when there's multiple people said they went to board meetings to talk about it, outside of the thing you found in 2008.
Well, it was found I found it in 2011 minutes, referencing the 2008.
Okay, and were you able to find anything in 2000? So again, it's interesting they never put it in the minutes.
And I
think you did it. No, I think you did it again. You reviewed a lot. I came in to help in terms of reviewing what you reviewed. But I think you put a lot of time into that and couldn't find anything. So I think we can't really say for sure what happened, but again, I think people will speak to their experiences of it when we open it for public comments, as some of the emails did as well, that we'll read during public comments. But yeah, I think I've spoken a lot of now. If anyone else wants to chime in on their thoughts before that.
Shall I do this or not?
Yeah, go ahead. I mean,
Okay. I'd like to make a motion. I'm gonna pass these around. One for Shauna.
Thank
sorry,
you.
I don't think we're ready for a motion
Well,
yet.
I don't think we're ready for a motion
I don't
yet.
think we're ready for a motion yet. I'm sorry. I thought I know you had gathered some facts as well.
Right.
And put together, including, yeah, so if you wanted to go through that and.
A motion can be made and discussion can happen.
So, this is Julie. The data that I have seen and some of the residents that have reached out, what I have seen is a high volume going down that small road. And those homes there are very close to the road. Many driveways are just within 10 feet of the road when they park their cars in there. And to have over, 744 average cars going through that small road is tremendous. That is the biggest amount of traffic in Forest Lakes. That I don't know if Daryl, if you have done any other road traffic counts anywhere else other than what's on this list, but that is a huge amount of traffic going through that small area. So that is a concern of mine and what the residents have brought forward and sent to me and to the rest of the board. I'm sure some of it may have only gone to a few, some may have gone to the rest of us, but I see that it's a big issue. I think it's a big problem. And I wouldn't be happy if I lived on that street either. Those are my comments.
I would like to add that the thing in the meeting packet with the traffic count shows that 529 cars per day on average turn off Loop Road onto Mesa. Of the 744 cars a day on Forest Lakes Drive West, 529 of them are coming off Loop Road onto Mesa, down that hill, and then down onto Forest Lakes Drive to hook up with Service Road. And it's inflicted significant harm on the residents who live on Forest Lakes Drive West.
And to add to that, I think if you look at the original plats for the neighborhood, it is on there. However, it was a side road. It wasn't intended as a paved road.
I'm sorry, Lynn, what did you say, Lynn? It was a what?
It's a connecting road, but the main road on that was Alpine Forest to get to the Loop Road, not Forest Lakes Drive.
Yeah, it's a legal platted road. It wasn't intended for, it wasn't intended to be, the loop road.
Yeah. Yeah, the house is.
And it's turned into the loop road.
Yes.
And
I mean, it also was the primary driver before I joined the board, because I know I get accused of that on Facebook a lot. The speed bumps being placed was the complaints on that road from a variety of residents because of speeding down that hill.
There's also gates that are remote control. We had a discussion about that too.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's a remote control or whatever it's called, but the drivers of Forest Lakes could open them up. The fire department would be able to open it up.
Yep, they
So
make specific ones that they don't need any extra equipment. They just double tap on their radio on the way up and it's open by the time they get there.
And it's RF, they can do it from the fire department
Yeah.
as they're leaving.
I would like
Yeah.
to,
I'm not arguing that fact at all. I just,
Yeah.
that's just, if we're gonna do it, I would want something that,
Yeah,
you know,
I agree.
my guys don't have to get out in the middle of a snowstorm.
100%.
And-
Yep.
And, emergency service can get through there.
they also make vehicle mounted. I would request that there's vehicle mounted on the plows.
Right.
So that we don't have to double tap, because sometimes just a double tap up here instead of down here
Oh,
would
okay,
lead
yeah.
to an accident.
Yeah, so if they make better ones, yeah,
They
we,
do.
whatever your guys' advice.
Like a two-way transponder kind of thing.
Yeah, it automatically sense the vehicle and then open up.
But with RF, that can happen at a significant distance as opposed to your typical garage door opener. This equipment is out there and readily available, and the gate itself can be a glorified farm gate with a motorized opener mounted on some grade scheduled 46-inch pipe with concrete in it, that's can have a first-class operation for under 5K per gate.
Yeah.
Where are these gates going to be installed? Theoretically, where are these gates to be installed and how many gates would we be installing?
Be two, I think. We can either do it there. I think that's the one they're recommending out. That's where the debate again that people, I think, likely discuss it in the emails. However, since Daryl and Corey both advised not there, it would probably be at the top of Mesa and the top of Pine Top.
Everybody from the intersection of Pine Valley Road and Mesa, and from Pine Valley Road and Pine Top, right? Would all of those people would still have to come out through?
Loop road.
Yes. Yeah.
Wait, no,
No,
that's not the loop road, because
you're
their
talking below
gate,
here?
their gated, yeah.
Yeah. Come down the main exit,
Exit.
which is what the majority, if you've been on the Pine Top onto Pine Valley, that's a pretty rough road
Yeah.
to turn off of.
Right.
The people who would be disadvantaged are the ones who live above that. It adds about, I think, 0.2 miles to their.
I just wasn't sure where you guys were talking about
Yeah.
putting gates and,
Yeah, it's, yeah, right there and there to divert traffic around as I think the community was originally intended.
and would we then have to be putting up additional signage saying,
Yeah.
local traffic only?
Not a
or
British
traffic only? I mean,
It would be, no through traffic, and it's gonna be a learning curve for the ones that it's, gonna be detouring, cause you're still gonna, at least for the first little bit, gonna get people trying to go up that road. Even, I mean, if somebody's new here using Google Maps takes you that route.
We would encourage at the earliest opportunity fixing that, because that is a lot of the truck traffic that comes in. That's all they've got to go on is Google Maps. And this is 0.2 of a mile shorter, therefore Google Maps puts you on that street. And recently we had, I believe it was 7 identical green dump trucks, all heading down the street, going up and around, all the way up to do a project up the hill. Every day semis go through there with towing giant equipment trailers. And these guys haven't been here before. They don't know where they're going. They're just following Google Maps. So that would be like tomorrow, you make that change, and that will cut down significantly on the transient traffic where people have no idea where they're going. It'll put them, go up Forest Lakes Drive, make a left on Loop Road and all that goes away. And that's like even Home Depot drivers. You know, most of they can't keep a driver at Home Depot for more than a few weeks. So these guys don't know where they're going when they come up here. They just,
They follow the GPS.
they follow Google Maps.
So during the training period, what are we gonna do with all the vehicles that go up in there and hit a gate? How are they gonna turn around?
I would imagine the gate would not be in place until next spring because these guys have enough to do.
Yeah, but there's still gonna be that learning process, whether it's this spring or I mean, right now or this next spring. I'm just wondering, really, what are we gonna do with people that are
I'll have to put up with it.
turning down below and then they get up to the loop road? How do they turn around? What do we do with that?
Snowbird is, you know, they can.
Oh, Snowbird wouldn't work, it's,
Yeah, they're way
They're way up
there.
yeah, or either.
Signs.
But still, the signs are great, but what, if you have a semi or a dump truck or a smart car, they need a place to turn around. If they go up there and they get on Mesa and now they're at Mesa and Pine Valley Road and there's a gate, they can't go out.
I mean, we could put a sign up for the initial time of, if you get stuck here, call X number. If our people are in the office, they can, I don't know.
I just think we need to have a plan.
Yeah,
We don't need to work that out right now.
yeah,
But
I would agree.
I do think we need to have that in our consideration.
That's reasonable.
One thing we could do is, you know, have the no thoroughfare or dead end or something. And Corey has been able to obtain, you know, signs from other areas. I don't know what you call them, the flashing signs that you have up front now, Corey. You know, maybe something like that could be put there that this is not a through street. And, you know, before we are ready to potentially put a gate up, months before.
At the time of the installation, we're probably gonna have to rent one, because Bayfield uses those quite frequently throughout the summer for their block parties and other events that they have going on through springtime, through summer and all that. And, this project's kind of, taxing my borrowing abilities from our neighboring community.
You can buy one.
Well,
So,
we can lease those from a
we
traffic
can lease one from a traffic control company. I just don't know if I'll be able to borrow one at the time this happens, if this happens. But that's a bridge we can cross when we get to that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe even.
I'm sorry, but
Go ahead.
we can definitely get a VMS sign.
Okay.
Or buy one.
Okay, do we want to open up to public comments or?
Did you have anything to say before?
I'll hold my comment until after the public comments, because this was a publicly driven topic, so I think for me, that's where it should have started, is public comments.
Kind of did.
Probably. Yeah, sorry, that's,
No, I understand touching that.
yeah. So let's open it up to public comments in the room first. And then I guess on Zoom, and then we can read the letters. I can read through them. I got them.
On Zoom, like after the public comment, please raise your hand, so it's
Yeah.
not a free for all.
Yep, Shauna will take a record of who clicks the raise hand button in the order it's done, and we'll call on you when it's open. But I guess, is it the three in the back row and you, so all four of you in here, so if you want to start.
Yeah.
Lynn, can I say something first? Everybody needs to keep their comments to 5 minutes to allow everyone time to make their comments.
Yep.
Gary Smith, Forest Lakes, 630 Forest Lakes Drive. I'm all for it. Since I moved out, I'm new here, moved here in January, but it's very irritating to have that many cars coming down there. And I, at one point, wanted to request a speed bump right out sort of near my house, because the one up in the corner, you know, that, I don't think that's sufficient for when these people get down on that straight and they're not, you know, they're not gonna slow down until they get to the intersection of the exit. So it's annoying getting in, and every time I'm going out there, there's people going, plus the dust. The dust in the car, on my car, is not a big issue, but it's getting into my house, you know, and that's annoying. That's all I gotta say.
Thanks. Then we'll start in back right.
Well, I can't offer any additional rationale that's already been given for why traffic should be reduced on West Forest Lakes Drive. I mean, it's all out there, and we all know why. But I feel, to Stephanie's point about training people, the biggest challenge is going to be not only training local people who have been driving the new loop road for however many years they've been here since that road has been open, but also getting one of the largest corporations in the world to change their map. But that's pretty much all I got to say, unless you want me to say more, and I got plenty more to say.
You got 4 more minutes, but yeah, whatever.
And who was that was speaking?
Kerry Newman, 753 Forest Lake since 1996.
Thank you.
Okay, next.
So my name's Scott Avery. I've been on Forest Lakes Drive 701 for 17 years. And it's just gotten out of hand. You know, kids used to play on that street. Now there ain't a parent on the street that would allow their kids to even play on it. My youngest now is driving, and he backs out into the yard. I go out and say goodbye to him when he takes off for high school, and people pass him before he gets to go forward. And there's been a lot of words in front of the house. I mean, you guys put a speed bump in front of my neighbor Donis's house, and they thought it was a joke where they were swerving around the speed bumps, you know, 35, 40 miles an hour, like it was a joke. And it's just gotten out of hand. I had a guy a couple days ago in a red truck telling me to go F myself because I was just telling him to slow down a little bit, you know. But the amount of traffic has gotten out of hand.
Next.
I'm down Thatcher, 687 Forest, neighbor of Scott. And I've been here 6 years now, and it's like living on I-75. It truly is. I back out of my driveway to go to work in the morning. People are coming down that hill so fast, they honk at me. They literally honk at me for backing out of my driveway. And it's out of control. And the trucks, the big trucks, they come by so fast. Most of them are half full. Your house will just bounce. It is out of control up there. If I didn't know it was gonna be like that, I would never move.
Okay.
And plus of that, when you go up to Mapes, up to Forest Lakes Drive, up to Mapes, there is no stoplight there. Look, no stoplight. People can't stop on that hill. Nobody's stopping. Therefore, there's no way to come down that hill. They're going 90 miles an hour.
Thank you. Shauna, you want to start calling people out, I guess, or
Josh and Missy Dickerson.
Yeah. Hi, this is Josh Dirksen. I'm at 724 Forest Lakes Drive. Been here since 2015. I can attest to the things that Scott and Donis mentioned. We get flipped off regularly We get told to go F ourselves by people hauling ass up the road, going twice the legal speed limit. I've witnessed multiple accidents of people coming down the hill into our neighborhood. I live right on the curve. We can't back out of our driveway in the mornings. Like I said, we're getting flipped off and screamed at and yelled at. I almost felt like people thought that the speed bumps were our fault. I had one gentleman actually tell me if I don't like it, I should have bought a house up on the hill where people with money live. And they, are more important basically and have the right to speed through the lower part of the neighborhood. And then a couple years ago, a gentleman swerved off the road, not paying attention, coming around the corner, and sideswiped and almost totaled my work truck, causing major damage. I believe he was just getting into cell service and texting on his phone or something, but swerved completely off the road into my front yard and destroyed my truck. So.
And God forbid one of our children were out in the front yard. Not to mention our neighbors have had their pets killed by people speeding up and down the road. I try to back out and I can't. People are flipping me off. They go around me or they don't even stop. And then I back into my driveway and that's just as bad. We don't have much of a driveway, but it's even worse. The other day I was out working in the garage and I saw someone hauling ass around the curb down below the hill. And I yelled, slow down, because there was a herd of deer in the road and they didn't even slow down. So they could have totaled their car, not to mention taking out all of the wildlife, which is part of the reason why I think we all live here, is to get out of the city. I'm fed up.
Yeah, I have a daughter the same age as Scott Avery's son. She's not been able to play in the front yard or ride her bike or do any of the things normal kids do for several years because it's dangerous out there. When I first moved here, there was a wrecked bike hanging on a sign at the intersection of Snowbird and Forest Lakes Drive telling people to slow down. Scott and some of the neighbors who have been here longer can maybe talk about that bike and whose it was, but it's just gotten out of control.
Thank you.
I think next is Josh Sherwood.
Hello, thank you. I'm at 801 Forest Lakes Drive, so right at the corner of Mesa and Forest Lakes, where that first gate was kind of talked about. I do understand pushing that gate back a little bit because cutting off that entire area is a bit detrimental to the whole process. I do understand that. I have only lived in the subdivision for about 2 years now. But being right on this corner of the upper of the hill, I see people come around the corner, especially during winter time from above, and slide into the ditch on the north side of the ditch many times. I think I witnessed 4 or 5 this last year. And kind of going back to the speed bumps that you were talking about, when they were placed on the lower side of the hill, people would slow down for them or swerve around them and then gun their engines to make it up the hill. So throwing rocks and everything. And now that they're moved on the top side, they then go through that. They never yield at the sign at the top of the hill and just go flying down the hill. I witnessed even this last week, truck coming up the hill, and the guy coming back down Mesa never even stopped. The guy on the hill had to slam on his brakes. And I've seen so many cars slide on this hill. I mean, as we all know, it's really steep. So as far as just the amount of traffic, it's crazy. My house only sits 15 feet from the actual road. So yeah, there's dust, and there's dust on all dirt roads. So that's not really it, but we're really close. We hear all the traffic. So that's all I have. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, I think next is Renee.
That's me. Hi, everyone. I am also Jim's wife, who's that purple guy in the middle. I live at 700 Forest Lakes Drive. We moved here during COVID and bought our home basically on the internet, a home that was supposedly on a dead end street, which we found out after we moved here was not on a dead end street. And we've had to live with it ever since. And what that means for us is the number of times I stand out in the middle of the road to block traffic to keep people from hitting fawns. I've done that numerous times. I walk every single day. I've had people swear at me for not being far enough in the ditch while they come careening around that place, that corner in front of Carrie and Gay's house. We have lived with tremendous amount of noise, like the most noise that I've ever lived with in the state of Colorado, and I've lived here 35 years. And I lived in Aurora on Quincy and Chambers. If anybody knows Aurora, that's a busy place. This is the noisiest place I've ever lived because of the traffic on Forest Lakes Drive. I really want it to be closed at Mesa, not farther up. Just want to say that. And I'm really upset that the board has not listened to the residents who I know for a fact have complained about this for years. I can't believe there's nothing that anybody could find, because I know for a fact that residents have complained about this for years and not been heard. So I'm grateful that this board is listening to the residents who live here. And I really appreciate it because it affects our quality of life more than you can possibly imagine. There's a reason we don't live on the top of the hill. We don't want, I'm sorry, I don't want your ditchy driveway. I don't want to drive 10, what is it? What's the grade? 15-foot grade up to my house. I can't do that. I'm old now. I did that before. I don't want that. We bought a house in a rural community that was supposed to be quiet and it's not. It's okay. We live, we back up to Service Road, right, in Alpine Forest and 501. I'm telling you, we don't have any problem with that compared to Forest Lakes Drive. That's how bad it is. And I just want my neighbors who don't live here to understand that it's not fair to us to live with that. It's a minor imposition to go, what is it, 0.2 of a mile farther down the road to drive to go out Loop Road. So thank you all for listening, and thank you to the board and Corey, everybody for actually listening to us.
Thank you, Renee. Okay, the next Renee.
This will be Daniel. It's under Renee's account. We live at 802 Fort Lakes Drive. We're right on the corner of the T section. We're across from Josh. We've lived here 8 years. So my comment would be, I think the car count numbers speak for themselves, and that the Mesa Drive, Pine Top, and that section of Forest Lakes Drive were never designed for that volume of traffic. So that would be the first safety concern right there. The road is not wide enough for that much traffic. The yield sign, in my opinion, is not effective, and maybe a lighted yield sign would be more effective. But the board is right in their conclusions and their observations. The trucks that go up the road because they're following Google, quite often, like Josh mentioned, have to stop because people aren't yielding. It's a dangerous intersection. I would imagine for the power truck drivers can attest to the grade right there. It's quite steep. And in wintertime, when you have people who are not familiar with the grade of the road, quite often it's our driveway where they lose traction. And it can be a source of entertainment, but it really shouldn't be. My wife and I do the best we can to support the community when people lose traction, because our driveway was always open to anybody who needs to make a U-turn, because that's typically right where the grade increases and people lose traction. I think putting the gate up at the conjunction of Mesa and Pine Valley is the logical choice. Again, that Pine Valley Road is designed for that amount of traffic, and the 0.2 of a mile, what 30 seconds difference? I think the rest of the community could absorb that time frame based on the fact that it would be a better use of the road if it was kept to a much lower volume. And I appreciate your comments. I listened to my comments, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't see any more hand raises. Does anyone else have any public comments that are on Zoom?
Yes, hi. My name is Ann Botsford. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. I was just at a son's soccer game in Pagosa. So I live at 712 Forest Lakes Drive, and we have lived there since July of 2009. And we actually moved there, and the gate was there placed at Forest Lakes Drive and Mesa. And that was one of the nice things about moving into the neighborhood, was knowing that we were going to be on a cul-de-sac, essentially. I did take time to email each of the board members last night about the concerns that we did have about the high volume of traffic, the safety issues, the noise, and we always knew we would be on a dusty road, certainly from being on the backside of the entrance to the neighborhood, but the increased traffic is just unbearable. And so we've lived there for 17 years, right across from Scott. And we were the ones that put up that bike to help remind people that kids do live in this neighborhood, that are often riding their bikes, and to please be considerate of your neighbors and slow down. I don't think that deterred many people. So we're tired of the constant traffic. I'm so thankful that you are willing to listen to the residents today, and deliberate, and hopefully put a gate at either where it was before. I think that would be nice, but I also understand that that doesn't serve all of the people in Unit 5. And so I feel like if we move it up to the Loop Road and Mesa, I think that's a win-win as well. I think we can do some compromising here to achieve a lot of our goals. So thank you again, board, for being there and listening and really giving this some thought.
Thank you.
Are there any other public comments?
Can I add something? I just want to add what Scott said about people, being impatient and stuff. I like to back into my driveway because, I was always told when you back in first, you avoid, getting in your car, backing out when you're not aware of everything, and you wind up, that's where a lot of accidents happen. So while I'm driving, I back in first, and I pulled out, and I come up and people were behind me, and I pulled out the swing, having them behind me, and they come right past me. And I've been ran into the side of them just because they were impatient, and they're coming past me without, giving me time to do my back,
I'll echo that. I back in often, and I've had people, as you swing left to do that, they're
Annoying, man. Dangerous.
Yes, we've taught our son to back into our driveway too, since he's a new driver. And I would love to do that into my garage, but that's a whole lot of work with a lot of cars in your driveway. But backing in is definitely some way we've tried to deal with it.
Thank you. And if that's it for the regular public comments, or the people who are attending, do we want to read through there's 5 emails, one of which Ann has already spoken. I've got them.
I don't necessarily know that it's worth reading.
Okay.
Because it's in the packet.
Yeah.
It's been emailed to the board.
Okay.
It'll be included in the minutes.
Yeah, and they're all similar.
They're all
descriptions.
Right.
Like,
we do have one more hand raise that just went up. there's no name. It's the D. Okay.
This is Gay Newman. I live at 753 Forest Lakes Drive, right on the curb down the hill. And, you know, I would appreciate you that you would read my email. I mean, we have complained for many years. I've lived here 29 years. And the amount of traffic has increased exponentially on this road. We have people that drive into the ditch. They're curving out more of our yard. Every year, there's people that try to go up that hill during the winter that can't make it up, and they're backing down on a blind curve. We've had people coming down that hill that slide off into people's yards. The neighbor across the street has had a car run into their tree during the winter. It's hard to back out of our driveways. We have people flip us off like all these other people say. You know, I think it is important for those people who did email in to have had their thoughts read at this public conversation regarding this information. So I just wanted to voice my opinion. I did send an email to all the board members, and I hopefully that you will read it, because it's not good anymore. It's dangerous for people and pets.
Yeah, I'm happy to read it.
Thank you.
So this is from Denise K. Newman on 753 Forest Lakes Drive. There are many reasons to consider closing Mesa Drive and West Forest Lakes Drive below Pine Valley Road and diverting traffic back to Pine Valley Road, Loop Road. It would make this part of West Forest Lakes Drive safer for kids, pets, people walking or biking, because the part of the road on West Forest Lakes Drive is too steep. People continue to speed even with speed bumps being placed. There is a blind curve from the hill, making this stretch of road hazardous. We purchased this property in 1995 and were told the service road would never open. There was a gate on County Road 501 in the service road. We were also told that this stretch of road from West Forest Lakes Drive to Mesa Drive would never be open. We purchased property in a little mini neighborhood. The driveways are close to the road. The main roads into the subdivision are called Loop Road and Elm. Most of these homes sit further back from the roadway than the homes on West Forest Lakes Drive. The builder put us on West Mesa Drive, which Metro District then allowed to open the road from West Forest Lakes Drive to Mesa to put in the utilities for these new homes. We were told this road would not remain open. Then we were told that they would be keeping this part of the road open. The neighbors here asked to keep the road closed, asked for speed limit signs to the road. The road's percent grade is steep and not legal. We're told it was plotted in the 70s, so it was grandfathered in. We were told Metro District did not control the road being open. It was LaPlata County, only to have LaPlata County say it's up to Forest Lakes Metropolitan District to make the decision to keep the roads open. The first winter that the road was open, there are many vehicles that went off the side of the road into people's yards. In one evening, there were nearly 10 vehicles that went off the road that had to be towed away. It continues to this day that cars slide off that stretch of road between West Forest Lakes Drive, where the hill is, and Mesa Drive. Also, there are vehicles that cannot make it up the hill and back down, and is very dangerous as people come speeding around the curve up the hill. Just last year, someone going too fast down the hill lost control and hit a tree in a neighbor's yard. We have had one neighbor whose truck was hit due to a speeder coming down the hill and around the curve. The amount of traffic on this road has increased exponentially over the years, and per the traffic counter has officially been determined more traffic uses the road than the Loop Road to Mesa to West Forest Lakes Drive as the main road. The road is very narrow and the houses sit closer to the roadway than they do on the Loop Road. This stretch of road was never intended to become the main roadway into the subdivision. It would mean a lot to the people who live on this stretch of road to be able to have less traffic, less speeders, less dust, and increase safety for people, especially kids and pets. Next, this one was from Anna Dupree, 631 Forest Lakes Drive. I'm writing to express my full support for the proposed motion to close the through access from West Forest Lakes Drive to the Loop Road. As a parent, homeowner, and full-time resident, I'm increasingly concerned about the safety of our children and pets with the current volume and speed of vehicles passing through. The majority of vehicles driving on West Forest Lakes Drive are speeding and are likely heading for the Loop Road. Closing the road would significantly enhance safety and livability of this part of the community by making our streets calmer and more family friendly. I truly appreciate the board's efforts to prioritize the well-being of our residents, and I strongly encourage approval of this motion. So Ann Botsford, she spoke, so I am going to skip hers. Her husband, Jed, sent something in 712 Forest Lakes Drive, Jed Botsford. I'm writing you all today to express my support for some type of traffic control device, possibly a gate at the top of the hill where Forest Lakes Drive intersect with Mesa Drive. I am in support of this as the traffic on Forest Lakes Drive has changed from a local traffic to being a thoroughfare for an excessive amount of residents that live further up the mountain than within Forest Lakes 5. The amount of residents that now feel they should use the Forest Lakes Drive Mesa Drive connection to the loop has become excessive and are causing many safety issues that are not present 5 to 8 years ago. The people using the connection are driving much faster than the posted speed limit of 20 miles per hour, and this creates safety issues for young children and residents exiting their driveway. The excessive speed has been recognized by Forest Lakes Metropolitan District as they have installed speed bumps in 2 separate locations on the road and also have put up a radar sign showing vehicle speeds. Yesterday, I watched 7 vehicles in a row from Alpine Excavation past my house pulling all kinds of heavy equipment. On Sunday, I watched as one of my neighbors was pulling out of the driveway and was almost hit by a vehicle pulling a boat that was traveling too fast on the road. It is documented from a 3-day traffic study showing the majority of the traffic is now making the connection instead of using the loop road as the intended route of ingress and egress from the subdivision. This should be a sign that things have changed, and thus the Metro District needs to adapt and manage the excessive use of residential roads that were not intended for the use in the planning. I am submitting this email to each of you to express my safety concerns and ask you all to consider adding a gate to stop the use of the connection and bring the traffic pattern back to the planning ingress and egress pattern of Forest Lakes on the loop road. And last was from Crystal Witt on 750 Forest Lakes Drive. I wanted to send my support to all the board members regarding the motion to be presented this evening to close Mesa Drive above Forest Lakes Drive. We live at the curve below Mesa Drive. It definitely helped traffic and speeds on our street when the speed bumps were placed just north of our house, but a closure is something we are very much aggrieved with given the amount of traffic that comes down our street. We have an 11-year-old daughter, and we do not feel safe for most of the day, especially weekends, to allow her to ride her bike freely on our road. Additionally, the grade in Forest Lakes Drive up to Mesa is very steep, and cars speed down that hill around the curve in front of our house in the middle of the road with no care of who or what might be around the curve. It always felt unsafe, and I'm honestly surprised a vehicle accident hasn't happened yet. Please consider both closure options to decrease the amount of traffic on our street. It will make it much safer.
Lynn, did you have one from Joe Davis?
I did not have one from Joe Davis.
Okay, I had received something saying he was going to be on Zoom, but I did not see an email from him, so we'll go ahead and pass on that one then.
Where's
Okay.
Josh and Missy Dickerson have their hand up again.
the last name is Dirksen, and there has been an accident when my husband's truck was sideswiped by an individual going too fast down that hill and not paying attention, causing extensive damage to not only my husband's work truck, but to the young guy that was driving his own.
Oh, my truck's been hit too.
Yeah. Okay.
Should I do this?
Yeah.
The PowerPoint?
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me allow. Okay.
Screen.
Yes.
For future reference, if you have something that you would like to share, if you email it to us in advance, I can have it set up and ready to go.
I have a version to turn in.
it says you're sharing, but we don't
Yeah.
see
I'm not
anything.
seeing it. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
No, that's an application, but that might work and stuff.
There we go.
Okay.
Got it.
Yes.
It's not very bad. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
All right, so there's gonna be a lot of repetition in this, because a lot of the points have been made, but did this to condense the concepts in a way that would make it easier for people to pull this together in their heads. So it starts out with a concept of adding a gate. So this is not a closure of the road, but add a gate at the advice of the district's attorney. And that's also here. So we got speed bumps basically for one reason, and that's because residents on Forest Lakes Drive griped about the speed, and the staff did something to help. Bigger issue is the residents on Forest Lakes Drive are inflicted with 744 cars per day when Loop Road, which was designed for that traffic, sees only 179 cars go on from the intersection with Mesa. 529 of those cars come down this shortcut. This should never have been the case. And the levels of traffic are being imposed on residents on this tiny side street to benefit who? You know, who's this helping? This is the original map showing that the street was closed. It doesn't exist. This map was on the website January 28th, 2023. This is solid evidence that this road was never supposed to be, and that it was a way to get utilities and so on up into the Mesa subdivision, the other part of Unit 5. This shows evidence that, and not the current board, not the current staff, this shows that past boards, past staffs have done as they please when it comes to not complying with the county rules. Service road doesn't exist from the county's point of view. It's not supposed to be there. And kudos to the past board and past and current staff for fixing this with the county, turning this into a boulevard. But this is, Service Road is the most egregious example of past governance of Forest Lakes Metro District, just doing whatever they wanted. And doing whatever they wanted, included opening Forest Lakes Drive to through traffic. So again, I'll point out, this is not supposed to be there. The history is pretty simple. 2004, Westwall Properties and Red Rock Homes secured temporary permission to install the infrastructure and to have construction access to ease their ability to build out the Mesa Drive section of Unit 5. And the promise was made, and there are people here who've heard the promise repeatedly, that this would be closed. It wasn't closed after the job was done. So you've seen this traffic count, and I've mentioned these numbers. So just please let them sink in. 529 cars turn off Loop Road to go down Mesa and exit on Forest Lakes Drive. Only 179 cars continue on Loop Road over to the main section of Forest Lakes Drive and go down the hill to exit on the road network that was designed to handle them. 75% of the traffic on Loop Road takes the shortcut through Forest Lakes Drive. Measured the distance several times, 0.2 of a mile difference, 7/10 taking Forest Lakes Drive west, 9/10 if you stay on Loop Road and go down the main section of Forest Lakes Drive. And not only that, but Mesa is slower and more dangerous because Mesa undulates and turns with additional steep hills on Mesa itself. It's not a safe road even there. Forget about the intersection and coming down Forest Lakes Drive. I've mentioned the trucks. I don't need to repeat this. This stuff is coming in because of Google Maps. And I know Lynn has asked that Google Maps and other mapping software be notified of a change that the traffic should not be using Forest Lakes Drive West. It's not necessarily an easy process, but you don't need to even call them. You just get on the website and you tell them there's been a change and that Forest Lakes Drive and Loop Road are the way you get there.
There's a process for municipalities.
Right. Setbacks. Up here, this is Loop Road. See the setbacks. This is Forest Lakes Drive. See the no setbacks. This is about 30 feet. He can put one car right here and there's not room for another car behind it. So that's a little Honda Accord. Tells you how little space there is versus these homes that are set way back. And this is the crux of the fiasco here. Look at this steepness. Doesn't look like so much from down the hill. I'm standing at the top of Forest Lakes Drive where it intersects with Mesa. I'm standing above the roof of the second house on the street. That roof is fully 6 to 10 feet below my feet. 2 houses down. That grade doesn't meet muster for any road. And notice there's no flat spot at the top where you can actually stop a vehicle and safely allow somebody who's coming down Mesa to turn left across the front of you. Most of the accidents have to do with that. The vehicles get there, there's a conflict, they have to stop, and then they're just sliding back down the hill. And the evidence, this was a pickup truck towing an equipment trailer, small equipment trailer, got to the top of the hill, was forced to stop, lost control, slid into this guy's fence. This is the home on the, that would be Snowbird and Mesa. And this has happened over and over again to this home. We've heard about this truck. This is the truck that got smashed. And it was my understanding that another vehicle in this driveway has been hit as well. I could be wrong about that. I didn't get it. This is Josh and Missy's house, and that's his truck. It was nearly totaled by somebody careening out of control.
It was a smaller pickup truck that I drove at the time that was wrecked. But I have pictures if the board wants to see them.
To make this change. After consulting with the Forest Lakes Metro District Attorney, adding a gate to divert traffic in any of these locations is perfectly legitimate. You're not vacating the road, you're not doing away with it, you're providing necessary emergency egress and access for fire department and so on. We've already discussed the technology that can make that happen. And I'll add that Matt Salka in 2023 said, I would think that it would be a Forest Lake Metro District Board decision with the input of the lawyers. It doesn't seem like an issue that involves the county at all. This map being on the Forest Lakes Metro District website and well beyond the date I said, January 2023, it was 2024 before it was replaced. This map is negligent.
Fixed it.
I know it's been fixed,
Yeah.
but it wasn't fixed until just a couple of years ago. This should not be in a governmental entity that is managing a district of this size. Overlooking something like this is negligent.
Can I ask you a question on, was this, the purpose of this map to show where the loop road was, or was the purpose of this map to show every single road in Forest Lakes? Just, I'm wondering.
It is the official map that was on the website.
Yeah,
It
but
doesn't,
the
I don't know
loop
the
road is
purpose.
highlighted is why I'm asking that
Well,
I
question.
think it's to label it. Give it a
Yeah,
label.
it was to show the loop road.
Okay.
It's my belief.
Okay,
And
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
so, yeah, everything that's got the brown border is supposed to be the loop
I
road.
mean, I understand your point, but I don't think this is a fair assessment to say that this map was meant to show every road in Forest Lakes when the loop road is what's highlighted. I think the reasoning was to show where the loop road was.
I disagree. This was
I know you
the
do.
map.
I'd be
This
curious
is
to
the
hear the
map
answer.
representing the district.
Yeah,
That would be the way to test
I'm
it.
just saying that I just wondered what
Yeah.
the reason for having this on the webpage was.
I would suggest that if you look at Loop Road, it is a convenient description for a series of streets in the neighborhood. And this map does clarify that all these different streets comprise Loop Road. But this was the one and only map on the Forest Lakes Metro District website representing.
One thing to follow, like, if that is the case, if this was a map meant to show where the loop road was and how to get in, it was intentionally left blank then. And why was it intentionally left blank?
Yeah,
To me, the only reason would be they didn't want people to use that road. And
If I
as they
may,
are.
can I add something about this map? The one thing that we don't know is who created this map, where this map came from. This, you can call it an official map, but this really is not an official map. Our official maps are what's recorded on plats. And to this map, why it was left on, I can't speak to why it was left on here. That was before me. Part of my research, I did find a map just like this one, except it shows the road being through and it has a stamp date on it saying it was updated in 2009. So I don't know where this map came from, who made it. This isn't an official or legal document.
It's the one and only map that was on the website.
I would just like to state that since I've been here in 2022, there's been more maps than this one on the website. Can't speak before 2022 because I didn't start with the district until 2022, but that map right behind your head has always been on the website since I worked here. I won't argue the fact that until it was brought to our attention, the map he's showing now was the exact one that was showing.
Right.
I won't argue that. But there's been other maps since I've been
Yeah,
here.
I don't wanna argue that that this is not a safe situation. That's my reason for asking the question. But I don't think it's a fair argument for what needs to be achieved here. So that's really all I wanted to go.
I just wanted to clarify that this isn't an official map. It's a map that was drawn up by somebody who I don't know. Our official maps or in our plat cabinet that have the legal plotted coordinates and all that stuff. So I'm not trying to argue that fact with anybody. I want to clear up the confusion on that's not an official map.
Yeah, and I don't think it changes anything that's being discussed here, other than it does shouldn't be considered official.
Appreciate it.
But I know I'm speaking out of turn, but the issue is that currently Mesa Drive, Forest Lakes Drive is the new loop road for everybody that lives on the west side of Forest Lakes from Hilltop Drive to the west.
Yeah, and I think
That's the issue.
Yeah, and if that map was the loop road, it was intentionally left off because it was open at the, depending on when it was put up.
Obvious, I
But
don't
we
think
don't know.
anybody's, I mean, I am not saying that
Yeah,
for whatever.
that's fair.
I mean, nobody has said, use this as the loop road ever.
Except for our GPS.
Well, right, I mean,
The biggest
everybody in the community has said, oh yeah, this is the way to drive. So, yeah, I just wanted to ask that question. That was really.
I have a hunch, and this is speculative. I have a hunch, and that is people follow the fall line. You know, you see a turn and you explore it once or twice and you go, well, this is cool. It is pretty. It's a very pretty drive. In fact, close friend who lives way up in the back. His wife said, I take it because it's pretty. But it's, you instinctively follow the fall line because you're going downhill, you intend to go downhill, and this looks like it might be better. And it doesn't take long to change your habits.
Yeah, and I'm not arguing any of that stuff, so that was not my point at all.
Appreciate it.
Did you have any other thoughts?
I do, but I will hold my thoughts for a while.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I mean,
because I think, and yeah,
Even if they had a sign at the bottom of the hill where it goes into Service Center Drive, that would say, not a truck route. That would help.
yeah. But I guess I think you're not, I might follow up with comments, but I don't have anything else to add. Julie, did you have anything to add?
No, other than, I do see a need to make a potential change and, can appreciate everything that everybody's coming with. If I lived on that street, I would probably feel exactly the same way. You know, I live on a small street, and if it used to be a thoroughfare behind some homes, and people still go up there, and then they built homes and closed that road. So we have people that go down our little street looking for that road to get to Alpine, and it's not there anymore. So that's probably a Google Map thing too. So I can appreciate it. Our street is a small one just like that, and I can understand everything that everybody's bringing up.
I appreciate everybody's comments and sharing their experiences for sure.
If somebody,
I guess the thing I would like to add is, I know we're gonna have to vote on this, and I think there may be a conflict of interest. Okay. Just, you're both speaking to it.
Can we
You live there.
We asked the lawyer.
I wanted to ask that question.
So in order for there to be a conflict of interest, there has to be a financial gain out of it. So if Lynn or Jim or the ones that had the business of selling the gates that we were looking at buying, they would not be able to be involved in this.
That's fine, I just wanted to mention it.
Yeah, that was something.
Maybe people out watching this going, so.
Yeah, I specifically reached out because I wanted to know if I needed to read myself. So I was proactive and, yeah.
Probably should have asked that at the beginning.
Yeah, you're good.
Well, it was any conflict of interest.
Yeah, well, I mean, but anyway.
Yeah, and there's nothing to gain for them. I did look into the conflict of interest as well, and there's nothing to gain for them as a board member. It is a gain for all of the residents on that street. They are not individually gaining anything, other than everyone on that street is going to gain a little bit of peacefulness, and some safety if we were to put that gate up.
And to respond a little bit, even though I live there, I am trying to separate myself from myself as a board member. I've been in how many hours now, Corey, reviewing stuff with you, looking for, like, is this right or wrong? And I agree. I personally don't think the map that was on the website and the back and forth is the right reason. I think the safety concern, the driving, the speed bumps, them being put out there, I think, and that wasn't the intention is the reason why traffic should be diverted. We saw the uproar that happened when we started putting in speed bumps, and it was caused by Forest Lakes
Yeah,
Drive.
no, I
So-
think everything that's been said is totally reasonable. I just wanted to ask those two questions because
Yeah.
somebody's gonna ask it out there. And I'll be the devil's advocate by asking them in here.
No, that's fair.
And I'm gonna go on record here as well and say, I really do appreciate the work that Lynn has put in it with, finding me dates, getting me somewhere to start looking at, so we can find some of this information, and it's not a he said, she said ordeal. A decision is being made based on facts, what the public wants. Well, I still stand by my suggestion, instead of closing it at, they said in Forest Lakes there, where it's only servicing, that road only now is servicing a small portion of Unit 5, that it
Services all of it.
services all of Unit 5.
And I agree with that. I think it would be,
Plus something.
yeah,
Plus a little bit of
yeah.
Unit 1.
Well, I have a question about that then, because Unit 5 is some of the premise of this whole thing of closing is the danger of that road and the hill. So now if we put two gates up over here and not here on Mesa, you're still leaving that open for, I know, those residents probably wouldn't be going as fast because it's their street, but you're still leaving that open potentially to have a bad hill, and it is a bad hill.
Yeah, but I think it's the decreasing the cars from 750 a day to, I think it would become about 150-ish, who all live right about there. I feel like to be inclusive of everyone in Unit 5, I feel like it's a risk that I think most people are okay with.
And that intersection, it is on the, pretty near the top of being one of our worst roads, but we do have roads that are equal, I wouldn't say necessarily worse, but equal in grade throughout the district. And this isn't just, isolated areas.
One that is worse, but yeah.
But is it worse with the amount of traffic?
No.
Yeah, that's.
No, not with the amount of traffic.
And I'm not just debating it either. My only concern is if it's closed at the top, it's an electronic feature. It's not a manual thing, and we can't do it manual. It's not always gonna work. If my employees have to bag down that hill, then.
You're talking Forest Lakes Drive versus Mesa.
Yeah, that's way more dangerous than driving down forward.
Agreed.
So that's my major safety concern with that, and then it being fair to all the residents that reside within Unit 5.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
For it to happen, is it just a board vote? Yeah, cause I mean, I would think the people up the hill that are gonna have to take the longer route might have opposition to that. I mean, even if it's only 2 tenths, some people, they live all the way out there, and I think the reason they speak too much is it takes them a while to get out, and they just wanna get it over with, get out on the highway.
The lawyer says it's a board decision.
Okay, alright, I just wondered.
It is a board decision to detour traffic, but to permanently close the road down, we have to go through the county process.
Yeah.
Right.
And I feel like if we want to pursue closing the road, which I think could be a secondary process of putting the gates up might be an easy, see if it functions, or are we having issues with people flying down? If we go that route, then we would be going to a public formal vote to go through the county's process to vacate a road.
Yeah.
So, but
Can you elaborate on that, that you actually know the details of how it would
Tori
happen?
has relayed them to me if he wants.
So I have relayed, give me a second, I'm a little out of order here. So I was speaking with the county on this, trying, to see what the process is and what that. What I'm unclear of, they say you have to have 67%. Now, I didn't ask him any further if that's 67% of Unit 5 or 67% of the people affected. I'm pretty sure it's 67% of Unit 5, but they did caveat with, you can go down this process, and there is a very low likely chance that the county would ever approve that road being closed down permanently.
even with Mount Salka specifically saying in email that it's up to us.
I'm telling you what I got from the county.
Yeah.
This isn't from Commissioner Soka, this is actually from the planning department.
Okay.
There is a process to go through a vacation of a platted road. There's funds that are gonna be attached to that, a lengthy process. If it gets passed by our board and all that, it still has to get passed by the county commissioner's board.
Yeah.
Whether they approve it or not, I can't speak for them. From my conversations, I think going through permanently closing the road is gonna be a waste of district resources, because right now, I don't have any inclination that this would ever pass through the county. On top of with a permanent closure not being supported by the fire department. Because I did reach out and got the feelers of what Upper Pine thoughts would be, and they are not pro closing the road.
Yeah.
I think that's.
They had some safety concerns with doing it. A traffic diversion. It is what it is. People are gonna have to learn, unfortunately. It is probably gonna increase some call volumes and things of that nature here at the office. And I am just gonna come out and say, be ready for the accusations to fly, because you guys do live on that road. It's gonna happen.
Like the firewood.
What did you just say, Corey? What's gonna happen?
The accusations are gonna start flying from people up in the road. We've already seen it with the speed bump and the most recent case here. Just be ready for that. I did speak to the lawyer about what we can do when that stuff starts happening. He pretty much says, if you, like we've done today, or you guys have done today, just state the fact and the safety concern and all that good jazz. There's nothing to worry about. Shauna was on that phone call and she can attest to that.
Yep.
What is, I guess I'm having a hard time understanding. The county doesn't want to have anything to do with this. Matt Solka has said so on multiple occasions. So how come we need to go through the county to do anything on this?
Well, you don't have to go to the county to detour traffic, is what we're doing with, if the board decides to put up gates. To permanently close that road because it is a platted road that been approved since,
61, I think.
well, whatever date's on that map, I forget. To vacate a platted road, you have to go to the county process of vacating the right of way for the road and all that stuff. And essentially what that does is it pulls the public access to that road away. So essentially it becomes a private driveway that
Has to be acquired.
Okay.
I have the documentations that I printed out of the La Plata County land use code that I can email you, or you can wait till you get back if you want to read them. That had all the stipulations and everything in that. I'm not saying Commissioner Soto was speaking out of line, but I don't think he was fully informed on the process of vacating the road.
His comments came from, I can't remember now off the top of my head, but his comments came from a county planning person who advised him.
My other question is they just revised their land use code, so was that prior to
It was
the land use code
23,
being
okay.
changed?
So
It
prior,
was right
right?
in that fact, so he could have been speaking the truth back then, but the codes have changed.
The good news is that's not what we're asking for.
Yeah, yeah, I was asking.
Your point taken, and the process, I did read about and learn about the process, and on the best interpretation, Unit 5 would be the smallest political section that would be required to be available, allowed to vote on this.
Yes.
So just Unit 5.
That's my interpretation.
And one of the reasons why the idea of including all of Unit 5 in the protection of gates it resonated as a possible option.
Can I ask Daryl a question? Daryl, you had made a comment about the gate possibly being put at Mesa would cause some issues, but the other two gates would be okay? In your experience and
There's no hill on those roads. I'm not worried about backing up in the dark. We do that all the time. What I'm worried about backing up in the dark is down a road that is that steep.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's because of the steepness of that road.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
if those people live in that area and it's blocked off in that area right there, people are gonna take more caution around their neighbors.
And there's still some hazard with backing up at the other two intersections, but the risk is significantly lower than backing up at that point.
And I would like to add that I think that since my crew has taken over roads, or since we have taken over roads, that we sand that hill very, very often. And we even come in on the weekends and sand that hill because we know it's an issue. We know people slide down it. I think we've taken more precaution to sand that hill and keep people from sliding down that hill.
Okay, thank you.
But yeah, so it'd be reducing that cost too, which. Yeah.
Well, from my standpoint, I'm okay to make a motion if we are ready.
Well, I think everyone's, do you have anything to add, Michael, or you?
Well, so I think, yeah, I do. I think without a conflict of interest, there is an appearance of a conflict of interest. And I feel like this is potentially a self-serving decision by two board members that directly live in this area. And I think my opinion as a board member sometimes it takes a little bit to wonder, or to show itself on why somebody joined a board. This one presented pretty quick to me. This is a decision on creating a subdivision within a subdivision, only accessible by the people that live there. I understand the issues with safety. I understand the issues with accidents in the past. You can't point to a road on this hillside that hasn't had one car slide off the hill, one incident in the winter, one issue with a truck turning down a road that probably shouldn't. I wonder, first of all, how many comments are going to come from why was this decision made? Because 2 board members live there. The next one is, when can Sam Ritz?
That's not a fair.
This is my turn to talk. So this is my thoughts on it. The next one's gonna come, Sam Ritz is gonna say, everybody checking their mail that lives up the hill, drive down our road next. It happens, like, people pay for these roads. People don't just pay for sections. And although there are issues, it sounds like neighbor issues. And listen, like, everybody's encountered somebody bad on the road. I've probably been a bad driver at one time or another in my life too. I don't know how to solve bad driver issues, but I don't think sectioning off sections is the right answer.
Well, you should live on that road.
I don't live on that road.
Right, you have no idea.
I didn't say there's not issues, did I? Again, you had your time for public comment. I'm just expressing my opinion. I'm not attacking you guys.
We were just talking about the fact, 700 cars going down that road, it shouldn't be.
There's 2,000 coming in and out of the front entrances.
Well, that's the front entrances, that's not a side road.
Did you have your time? You had your time to talk there.
Yes,
I'm
I appreciate that, but let's give Michael his time.
All I'm saying is that we're sectioning off publicly used roads for this group of people to have their roads all to themselves, and that's it. I mean, obviously it's more than that, but I've had people drive down my road that shouldn't be on my road. No, I'm calling it my road. It's not my road. These are publicly used roads. And what are we gonna do? Start sectioning them off and have gates at every turn, every driveway? Like, I don't know.
Were you done, Michael?
Yeah.
We've been allowing comments, so yes. I think that's-
So I would think if we looked on a map together, Forest Lakes Drive and Mesa is probably one of the few roads that has this issue, where people could use it as a cut through, like Sam Ritz. It just services Sam Ritz. It doesn't really go to anywhere else. Because the people that live above it, they're gonna take Alpine Forest, or they're gonna take the main loop road, which would be Forest Lakes. But I think this is a unique cut
I have
through.
no doubt about that.
And yeah, and I appreciate your comment, and I'm not, but man, I picked up dead cats in my neighbors and had to bring them to their house, and like speeding and aggression, and like on a daily basis, like almost getting in fist fights with people, and not myself, but just the whole street for people just being, and I could start coming out with, it's a white CRV and it's, you know what I mean, and stuff.
I've had to call I've had to call cops and people that live in that area as well for aggressive driving. And I've seen them pull into driveways.
But
the problem is these people are not good people anymore. They think they're protected and hidden in their cars. Like,
but I'd be willing to ask you, anywhere else on that map that has maybe the issue we're talking about, like where people could cut
after the
through.
mailbox, like literally that little whatever it is. We've had calls on that road in particular. And Sam Ritz, people leaving the mailbox and cutting through that area. And I again, I'm not right.
Yeah.
These are my opinion, like, it's just my opinion.
Yeah, I value it. The value.
Okay. And since I was directly called out, you said I'm gonna respond. That is not why I joined the board. The speeding on my street is what initially got me invested in the community in that sense. But that is not why I joined the board. Like, you can say that, I guess you can call me a liar, I guess, but it's,
Calling anybody a liar.
that's what you did. That's,
No, I didn't.
I
okay,
think
okay,
it's just a perception.
that's fine, and I'm okay with it, but people can be wrong. And perception, and I'm okay. Yeah, and I'm okay with that. I think this is the most, we've had 15 people come comment. When's the last time we've had 15 people comment on a single issue? Did they for the entrance even?
Sewer.
Sewer?
Sewer.
Sewer rate?
The sewer.
Okay, so there's been one thing in the last,
Well,
I don't
Years
think we
ago?
got
the-
any for the front.
the other
Yeah,
rate
I don't remember.
increases.
so rate increases,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, to me, it's the amount they're expressing their concern, but I really have tried to remain impartial. I don't care what the appearances of things. Like appearances are wrong all the time.
and I do believe that what has been voiced here is super valid. I also think what Michael voiced has validity to the remainder of Forest Lakes having the questions that Michael had the guts to put out there. I think that there will be others that ask that. It will appear that way, that this group is getting special treatment. And that's all, that's all. I mean.
We're not, because it's fallen on deaf ears way before.
Please,
There's enough truth to both things.
Yeah.
They both have validity, and that's all.
the reason, the comment I'm referencing does not have, I'm sorry. You can say the appearance stuff, like
The
it is,
appearance does, yes.
but appearances don't have validity. Validity is it truly representing what it is? Like, it does not have validity. It's wrong.
Except for that, it is that person's truth, the person that.
No, it's my truth because it's why I joined the board.
Okay, yeah, we don't
I
have
think
to
we're
go there.
getting
Yeah.
a little.
I'm sorry, like, I'm not gonna be accused of that, and that's how,
Okay, I thought we were done with that. Yes?
sorry. Okay. If you wanna make them,
Okay,
and I don't think that I think it's the top two.
okay, well, I'll be open to a friendly amendment if you can pass that around. I know that Corey often does these this way. He'll generate a motion.
Yeah, and I apologize, I didn't do it. I wasn't sure where this was gonna go after the conversation today. So I didn't prepare a suggested motion sheet.
Okay.
She went
gonna
Oh.
reopen this. I don't know how it got closed.
Simple goes.
So I have the motion here on screen. I'm gonna read it off the paper because the Zoom covers up a bunch of the screen. I, Jim Moore, make a motion to add a gate to divert traffic at the intersection of Forest Lakes Drive West and Mesa Drive and Pine Top Drive, subject to a friendly amendment to move the gates to different locations we discussed. And I have a timeline because this is complicated. Forest Lakes Metro District staff shall prepare and present a plan and a budget for this project at the November 18th meeting of the Board of Directors. The deadline to execute the plan in full will be next May 15th, 2026. In other words, giving significant amount of time to research the plan, to research gates as we've discussed and so on. The district staff will take all necessary steps to notify all mapping software, Google Maps and all the others by November 14th this year. And staff shall erect 2 no through traffic or equivalent, dead end, whatever, no through traffic or comparable signs at the intersection of Forest Lakes Drive West and Service Road by December 1st. I believe that is feasible. So that's the motion. Again, subject to a friendly amendment to move the gates elsewhere.
Before we check it and move on further,
I think Robert's rules say there needs to be a second before we continue discussion.
Can I give a second with the change in roads, or I don't know if Julie would prefer?
I'll go ahead and make a second motion. I second this motion. I do think it's an aggressive timeline, though. I think with the freezing temperatures and everything going on, preparing the budget is fine, but executing the plan and having Google Maps and all that, this could take much longer. And I think we just need to maybe put in here that it should be completed potentially by December 2026 to give the staff, the residents, everybody time to adapt, to make changes, to, you know, come up with a plan, a better plan. And maybe we should just discuss this more in December to see what the plan is that the staff could come up with, that Corey and his staff can come up with.
So can you detail your friendly amendment? Specifically, in other words, you said by December.
Yeah, so preparing the budget, I think, is fine because we are coming up on our budget. So number one, to me, is fine, seconding this motion. The deadline to fully execute the plan, May 15th, 2026, that's when we're just going to be coming out of the freeze. I think we need to move that to the summer by August. FLMD staff shall take necessary steps to notify all mapping software. I also think that that needs to be through a 6-month time frame because it could take a while to do that. And it's gonna, I don't think we should put the pressure on the staff to have this all done by November. Staff to erect 2 signs. Potentially that could be done by December 1st. Go ahead, Daryl.
I can probably have you those up in a week,
depending
on the time.
The one thing I was gonna say about the erecting of the sign, stuff like that, that does fall into our no dig. So we would be violating our own rules that we're enforcing other contractors to adhere to.
Are you suggesting?
We have been on dig moratorium from October to April, where nobody allowed to dig, which installing a sign would be longer digging a hole. So we would be violating our own policies and expecting residents to follow suit. Or not to follow suit.
What policy is that?
Our no dig moratorium, we're not allowed to dig in the roads. Or in the right of way, I should say.
Not to falsify anything you said, because it's 100% correct, but I do have signs that I could change out, the speed limit signs, change those out to that temporarily, and then put a speed sign back up and put the signs out you want right now.
Yeah, as long as it's all within compliance and there's plenty of time to do this. I just don't think that we can rush through this. So we need to make sure that this is a good plan. This is affecting these residents who have been wanting this for years. Before Jim came on, before Lynn came on, before I came on, before all of us came on. They've been trying to get this taken care of. So I think we need to make sure that we have it done properly and make sure that we can take care of it the way it needs to be done.
I have no objection to your amendments.
So.
Lynn, do you want to take a roll call?
Well,
Shauna will, yeah.
to be clear on timeline, November 18th, to have it in the budget. And then
Deadline to execute, what you said, August?
I think August would be more reasonable, yes. If it's done before that, great.
And then the maps, you said 6 months, so that would be
That'd be
April.
August, April or August, yeah. Give them 6 months to do that.
Yeah, so April 1st.
August to have, or I'm sorry, April? Or
That's 6 months. That was-
April.
Yeah, for that one, she said
So
6 months.
April, end of April.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Daryl's proposal to erect the signs in place of, or maybe in addition to, the speed limit. I mean, I don't know how tall your posts are, but two signs on a post, I think, is legal as well. But appreciate that as a recommendation, and that could be done by the deadline stated here or sooner, by the sound of it. So with those amendments, I don't, as the person who proposed the motion, I have no objection to those amendments.
Or one other question, is it the top of Forest Lakes Drive where it merges with Mesa and Pine Top? Or is it Mesa and Pine Valley and Pine Top and Pine Valley? Discussion on.
I would accept that change as well. They have to start somewhere with something this crazy. So I would accept that recommended change as well, subject to your plan. Okay, that's part of the plan, is how can we most effectively do this in a feasible way to achieve the primary goal here.
Daryl will go with your expertise on that.
What is the thing that you're wanting to know?
Where the
Location.
gate or gates would be.
I'm sorry, I thought you meant you wanted an information to slow people coming down the hill, sorry. Yeah, I mean, like I said, my only concern with the gates is it's not them being there. I don't have a problem with them being there. I understand your concern. I understand why you're upset. But yeah, put them on the hill. I mean, it's technology. Technology doesn't always work. If my guys have to back down the hill, then it's not only a potential threat for my guys, it's a potential threat for you that lives at the bottom of the hill. People at the bottom of the hill.
I think there's some confusion on what's being asked.
Yeah, there.
Yeah.
We were asking,
The
do
gate's
you think
going
it should be
on
gate here or here?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Makes more sense.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
But.
So
It's
the
not.
two
That's what I said.
gates being
Two
proposed,
gates are being.
both off the loop.
Off the loop road.
Okay.
Okay, Shauna? I think we might be ready for a roll call.
Y'all ready to vote? Director Beer,
Yes.
Director Moore,
Yes.
Director Sewell,
Yes.
Director Cornelia,
No.
Director Baldy. All right. That is 4 yes and 1 no. Motion passes.
Thank you for all your hard work on this, everyone, and all the residents as well. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. So,
Corey, Lynn,
yeah,
Corey and Lynn, we're still here for quite a while. Could we table the mail stop fee discussion to the next agenda in November? And maybe move on to the agenda packet and purchase of the excavator? I don't care. We can stay.
yeah. I'm fine with that. I don't, if anyone has any objection to that. The table mail stop fee.
Number
discussion.
D.
I don't see why we can't discuss it, but if other people want to table it, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, we can continue. I just am trying to maybe move some things so we don't run here till midnight.
Ask if anyone came for the mail stop fee, because we had had a few.
Yeah, I guess that would be great advice from Sean, if before we table it, maybe ask.
Yeah, has anyone attended from the audience, for the mail stop fee?
If you don't know, we're not gonna tell you.
You gotta stick around or come to the next meeting.
I don't see the gentleman who had said that he was gonna be here to speak his piece about it. So I think it's
Yeah,
probably.
I think he said he wasn't gonna be here. And asked me to present his email, so I think we could table that until November. And maybe he can attend then.
Okay,
Okay.
so that would require a motion, and our next meeting is the
16th.
the 18th.
18th. This is Julie. I make a motion to table 5D mail stop fee discussion and to November due to time constraints right now.
Second, Jim Moore.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Okay, Director Beer,
Yeah.
Director Moore,
Yes.
Director Sewell,
Yes.
Director Cornelia,
Yeah.
Director Ballsley.
Yes.
All right, that's a unanimous to table mail stop discussion.
Are you ready?
Okay. So next, moving on to the agenda and packet deadline discussion.
Yeah. So I brought this up to Corey because I would like to see, we have pushed out our board meeting by a week and we're still getting everything at the nth hour. And I would like to see that we have more time as a board to read through the documentation and make sure that we get it ahead of time. And that if something were to come in, we do not scramble to try and say, here is an updated agenda, that we make sure that we just push it off to the next month. I think we need to try and get into that, not that reactionary thing, and be a little bit more planned in how we do our agendas. Maybe the Wednesday before the meeting. So that would give all the board members Wednesday, we would have to receive it Wednesday. We have until Tuesday to review. And I really think that that would be helpful to all of us, because right now, sometimes we're just scrambling to try and read these large agendas, and then there's changes at the last minute. So my proposal is that, and to put in a policy that how we're going to handle all that, so we make sure that we do that moving forward.
So to be clear, Julie, you mean like Wednesday the week before or Wednesday before the meeting? I guess I'm confused on what your timeline.
So our meeting is today, right? We should have received the board packet and agenda and everything by last Wednesday. So the
Okay.
Wednesday before the meeting.
So moving it up one day than when y'all got it this week.
No, it would be an additional Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. That's 6 days for us to be able to review the packet and the agenda.
Because I had it out by Thursday this week, correct? So you have 5 days to review. You want it on Wednesday instead of Thursday.
Yes, on not just on a 1 month by 1 month. Every month should be the same way. Because typically we receive them on a Friday. And we get that, it's not just the agenda, it's the packet too. So typically we receive them on a Friday, there's changes on Monday, and we have to read through them again and make sure that we know what's going on. That's just too much. We all have private lives and I think we need to have more time.
So I'll chime in. What is the public notification rules?
24 hours in
But-
advance.
By law, we have to have the agenda posted 24 hours in advance.
So I see this last Thursday is just fine for me. I think when there are additions or edits or anything changes that you guys have been fairly thoughtful in saying, hey, this is what we changed. Here's your revised packet. You have alerted the board members to any of those changes. I ask that you continue to do that. If there are any edits, I think Thursday is just fine for me. And if it's 24 hours notice for public by the rules, laws, I'm just fine with that too. Just me.
And to me, I think Thursday is fine for me. That was actually nice to have it on Thursday rather than Friday, so thank you.
Normally I go, oh, sorry.
Oh, you're good. Go ahead.
Normally I go over during the weekend. That's when I know your guys' business stops.
Computer shutting down. So hopefully you continue.
I know your guys' business stops by Friday. So normally I open up that email specifically on Saturday and I go through everything. And so I am just fine with Thursday, Friday. Yeah. And I obviously check it the night, the day of the meeting for any last minute changes. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys doing that where you specifically say this was changed because of this.
Yeah.
Everything else stands.
And I think Thursday will be fine. I think Wednesday will be fine. Stuck with changes. I think Julie's, from past months, there's been times where it's been sent to us, I think on the weekend for the first one. So if it's, I don't know if we need a policy, if it's just a standard of we need it by Wednesday or Thursday, I'm good with either of those. To give time. I'm not. Okay.
So when you say a policy, you're saying a written policy?
That's what she had asked. Yeah, if we need a policy, or right, Julie?
Yeah.
Understand? Yeah.
Yeah.
I need a written policy.
Yeah, literally it was done.
Just
Okay.
another thing to have to spend time creating that's overkill.
Still recording though?
Yeah, no, we're good, we're good.
Okay.
That's why make me the co-host, so it's.
Yeah,
my
it said
computer
it was
crashes,
done.
mine takes over, if mine crashes, she takes over.
Are there any other comments from the board?
No.
Any comments from public? Okay. Are you wanting to propose a motion, Julie, or just have that kind of as a request to the FLMD management?
I'll make a motion that we provide the agenda and packet, have the deadline of the Thursday before the meeting. The third, I guess it's the third Tuesday of every month, so we would have it the second Thursday of every month.
I'll second the motion.
Am I writing a policy or am I not writing a policy?
No policy,
Okay.
no
Thank-
written policy.
Oh,
I
sorry.
think.
Sorry, was your motion to have a policy or to just have that be the standard? Maybe
I'm fine with just making the motion to have it on the Thursday before. And if it becomes an issue, we'll just write a policy about it. So I'm fine with what Stephanie said.
Thanks for the clarification. Do we need to vote on that since it's not a policy, or is it just a?
I don't think it needs a motion because it's a discussion and you guys gave us direction to move forward.
Okay.
I think a motion would be entitled if I was making a policy and we were voting on a policy.
Yeah.
I'll just speak in favor without a vote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm fine,
Right.
yeah, I think there, I have it by then, so, okay.
I mean, either way, a motion doesn't hurt either, but I just don't think it's necessary in this case.
Yeah, okay, so we'll skip roll call for that and then move to the last,
Second to the last.
the second, oh, yeah, there's the committee reports. So next is the the clear numbers, I'm sorry. Purchase of mini excavator. Action.
All right, and I'm gonna hand this one over to Mr. Darrell.
Well, I sent out it's up on the monitor for y'all. Spreadsheet, you asked me for 3 quotes. You know, must have some kind of magic because anytime I need some quotes immediately, I never get them. Hope that something to work some kind of magic to get them. But I got you 3 quotes.
The lady? Yeah.
She gave up on us.
She lives in Pagosa, so she.
Yeah, so she got to leave. Yeah. Yeah, so I got the 3 quotes. Additionally, I prepared the spreadsheet for y'all so that way y'all can actually see the specs side by side. I mean, the price is one thing, specs is a whole nother thing. Yeah, and I mean,
You're good.
sure.
Well done.
Yeah, and I mean, all of it's important, but the yellow part is the most important parts. I mean, your breakout force, your weight, travel speed, obviously. Yeah, and the digging reach, those are the major factors other than cost. I mean, I know the cost is an issue always with everything, but yeah, so is the machinery being able to do what it needs to be able to do. And yeah. Another thing that I like is that we do have in-house service. When I say in-house service, I mean that we have 2 techs that live in the district. One is from John Deere, one is from Cat. So I do like the availability that we're not going to be told we won't be able to get out to your area in a week or until a week or 2 weeks. There's always a technician coming home. So yeah, that's the 2 things that are important to me, or the things that are important to me.
The one thing I would like to note on this too, you see 3 very different prices, and when it comes to heavy equipment, you get what you buy. Going cheap is not necessarily the best thing. Getting the most expensive one, in most cases, isn't necessarily a good thing either. But for what we need in this district and what we're digging through, which Mark and Daryl can both attest to, we need the Cat.
Nobody that's done a hole.
Can attest to that.
Oh, right, whoa, imagine that, whoa.
Yeah.
Big lay. And go where they have for.
So,
Yes.
Does this have to be like, this, just us approving you guys being able to purchase? Do we have to be involved in which product? Because it should be up to you guys utilizing the equipment,
so
in my
it
opinion.
it does come down,
Budget, tied to the budget.
it does come to the board for a decision on which one we buy because of the dollar amount. It's in our procurement policy. If we were looking at, buying something that was $5,000, $10,000, that doesn't necessarily need to come to the board. Things, I mean, we're talking a big chunk of change here, that needs to be approved by the.
No, for sure. And that's what I'm saying, like, are we voting just on you guys being able to
You're
purchase the
pretty much,
equipment?
the board's job on this is to listen to what the staff is saying and to make an informed decision on what piece of equipment that we can buy.
Yeah.
Because we're approving the budget for it as well.
Yeah, so on top of this, we are gonna have to do and sorry, Jim, I'm not trying to cut you off. We are gonna have to do a budget supplement because this was not planned for FY 25, this was being planned for FY 26. We're essentially swapping plow truck because we ain't gonna get the plow truck to the beginning of January,
And I have reaffirmed that.
which is changing the budget that way. So in essence, we're spending money that's potentially gonna be approved for FY 26 and 25, and then spending the money that was approved in 25 and 26.
And so how much was originally allocated for this purchase in one of these budgets? Seems like you had a number last time we talked.
Like 107, things like that.
Did I do it off the 107 number?
I'm
Yeah, I
pretty sure
did it
you
off the
did.
107 number. Daryl's department is paying half of that 107, so 54,500
You
bucks.
have that much on you?
Correct.
Uh,
No.
the water fund and the sewer fund are taking up the other half, but
25.
it'll be 27 something and 27 something out of each one of those funds.
You too, huh?
Yeah.
I did look at the budget. The water and sewer fund can absorb that this year. And we should be fine.
So you put a number,
Not
approximately 107 in a budget someplace.
Yeah,
So that's,
I did the budget for this number you see there. That's not including the extended 7-year warranty. That would be an extra $1,500, $1,550. Which
For an extended warranty, you said, Corey?
Yeah, instead of the 2 years that comes with the purchase, we're essentially buying 5 extra years to go on top of that.
Correct.
To make it, so instead of 2 years, we'd have a 7-year warranty on that piece of equipment.
Didn't I also see a quote or something for a bucket?
The bucket tied into the John Deere, the one that I sent out today.
Yes.
Yeah, that's because John Deere didn't put that all in one quote. They don't actually own and make the bucket. They just can attach that bucket to it. They don't actually make a bucket that does that.
a cat does, cats.
Cat does. Cat has their own equipment that does, yes.
Yeah, buckets included. That answer your question, Julie?
Yeah,
So if, I'm sorry, if you look here, you can see Daryl broke it out, it would be $98,000 from, John Deere that had the bucket that we're looking at buying. It's which is called 108,000. And it comes with the bucket. And the specs that both Mark and Daryl agreed upon.
okay, and then just for my head, the 107,000 you're saying is for 2026? We have to do a supplement because we didn't have the funds, even though we approved the 386 for the snowplow in
So-
2025.
What we're asking for, because we're changing the capital project, right? We're not buying a power truck this year, so we have to do what's called a supplement budget, saying that we're not buying the power truck this year. Instead, we're gonna buy a mini excavator in FY 25. If we were to receive the plow truck this year, we would be paying for the plow truck this year. And the skid steer, the mini excavator in FY 26. But because we're switching capital improvement project, we have to do a budget supplement approved by resolution stating what we're changing in the budget.
Got it. Okay.
I feel
Yeah,
like
as long as we're not taking out of our so-called reserves, that we're just switching funds from one year to the next.
Yes.
Correct. Okay. All right. Thank you.
want me to give it a try for a motion? Because that's what you need, right?
If the board is done. And
We can
discuss more after the motion.
Well, and
Amendment.
are there any public comments for this item?
That's your public comment.
And that's what my statement was, is not opposed to one or the other, it's leaving the option for you guys that are gonna use the equipment.
Right. Yeah.
It's, you know, I work construction, but you guys are. Yeah.
There's no left one.
That's 7 year warranty.
Yeah.
So that was my only.
Okay.
Yeah, she had to leave.
So, a motion to approve of purchasing the.
And subject.
So, but our motion has to be one of them. We don't leave it open.
That's what I just instructed Jim is to give us a motion to approve us purchasing the cat.
Okay.
So I think you need a bigger motion and we can amend it. But I'll start with, I make a motion that we authorize the budget, what would you call the term? Change. I make a motion that we authorize staff to prepare a budget supplement that moves the plow truck into 2026 and the mini excavator into 2025, and that the budget amount for purchasing the equipment be up to $110,000, because you need the money for the extended warranty, and that the item to be purchased would be the Caterpillar mini excavator. Does that cover it pretty well? Any changes?
I'll second it.
All right, roll call for vote, Director Beer,
Yes.
Director Moore,
Yes.
Director Sewell,
Yes.
Did we lose you, Julie?
No, I'm here.
Director Cornelia,
Yes.
Director. Yes. That's a
Can
unanimous.
you hear me, Shauna?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I said yes.
Okay. So
You
that's
have to
it.
promise to give me a ride.
Okay, yeah. As a matter of fact, we would be honored if you ride in the parade.
Okay, so next, and then we had the Clear Networks discussion we had tabled earlier about extending the moratorium. Maybe I can start off, given the concern of heaving and what was the other one? Boiling?
Yes.
And given how, I think are overestimating their speed up to this point. I don't know that I would move to extend the timing unless you guys think it's over. Yeah,
You want my honest opinion?
yeah,
I warned them of this, before they even started.
yeah.
We have nothing but rock here. Plan accordingly, and they didn't heed that warning, so I have no sympathy for them.
Mhm.
Do we need better broadband within the district? 100%, absolutely.
But there's a high risk to the road.
Their poor planning shouldn't constitute a potential issue on the district.
Yeah.
I'd like to add, that they're not talking about being done or anything remotely like being done. They're just talking about doing a couple more weeks of work, right? But we're not gonna have fiber in our houses if they give them 2 more weeks.
From what my understanding is, if we gave them 2 more weeks, they would be done with the lower portion, and once the conduit's in line, and all the pole boxes are installed, they can go the fiber throughout winter, so I can't speak to that.
I don't see that happening, though. I've watched them work for weeks in front of my house.
I don't see it happening.
Yeah, so it's kind of a moot point that they get to make 2 more weeks of progress. When it's not gonna get us there.
And
I really doubt that they're gonna have fiber in my home. And they've had all that in the street now for several weeks. Ain't no way.
And we do have a moratorium, and we do it for this contractor who's just saying that contractor not gonna come in and say, well, I need a water tap.
Mhm.
So I mean, I would be hard pressed to, advise the board to allow that to happen.
Do we need a motion, or is just this the sense of the board?
I assume if we're not changing it, we wouldn't need a motion.
I think to be on the safe side of this, I would make a motion denying the request of extending the moratorium.
Does anyone else on the board have thoughts or things they want to add?
I guess I'm the type that would lean towards, again, Daryl and Mark, your opinions on this, they did make mention of a week by week basis. Again, this is something that I feel is should be up to you guys than the board who makes policy and budget budget decisions.
I agree with you.
I understand that people, have problems and that they need more time to do work. Trust me, I understand firsthand, but I made it very clear to them that we had a policy that there was no digging after November. And I've seen the impact.
I can't get it going.
Sorry.
I've seen the impact of the boils and the heaves, Alpine Forest Drive, San Moritz, from the last time what was their name?
We try to forget.
Yeah, we try to erase that.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever that company was. Yeah. The scars that they left.
Oh, Circle V.
That's it.
Circle Z.
Yeah, so, I mean, that being said, I mean, those were costly for the district. That cost money for the district to fix. Yeah. I think that we should stick to our guns on the no dig policy.
Yeah, we have a policy. That, as I kind of look forward to it, because it means there's a time frame there that you can kind of say, unless it's an emergency, we're not going into the ground.
Yeah.
And if we just start whittling away at it because the contractors want to do it, then why have the policy? you know, the meeting was with Clear Networks and then their original contractors. I missed the meeting with Alpine Excavation. Those guys are really good. I respect them. But at the same point, we have a policy, do we not?
And so for a reason,
That's their
being a mountain
reason.
community in Colorado. Yeah.
I just wish that the board would listen to me when the natural gas went in and said, why don't you put in an extra conduit? We can use it because telecom's gonna come in. No, we could have avoided all of this. Yeah. Just a girl, what do I know?
You know about the clamp on a Mini X bucket, so.
Well, I'd like to make a motion that we not extend it, and go with Mark and Daryl and Corey's expertise, and be done with that. This is Julie.
Oh, yeah, is there any public comments? Apologies, you, but.
No, I agree with these guys, and Gerald said, when, you know, snow's coming.
Nope. So good, right?
I would.
At least freezing before snowing.
Okay, now go ahead, Julie. Sorry.
I make a motion, that we go with Daryl, Mark, and Corey's expertise and not approve the extension for Clear Networks.
I'll second the motion.
Director Beer,
Agree.
Director Moore,
Yes.
Director Soul,
Yes.
Cornelia,
Yes.
Director Ballsley.
Yes.
All right, that's a unanimous to not extend the moratorium for Clear Networks.
And then the last thing is to go through committee reports and agenda items. So I guess we'll go through each of the committees, and if you have something to raise it. That we're gonna do for this, or?
Yeah, so, first off, this kind of fell off the agenda, and I do apologize, Director, so for us to put this back on, and I threw it back on there, and I didn't send out any information about it. This is for if that particular committee has something to report. You don't have to report anything, but if you do have something to report, by all means, you can absolutely report on something. If you have nothing to say, nothing to report at this time, and if you would like something on the future agenda, you can ask for it now, obviously, or, I mean, you can ask for it at any time, but this was something that we put on there.
Okay, so start with the budget committee, anything to report, or?
I do, and I appreciate the way you responded about this being a surprise. I thank you. The comments I have are that Corey and the team have done over the top, masterful job preparing this budget, and that goes for the two of you as well. I know there's a lot of pardon? Oh, well, and you too, huh? Okay. Are you the spreadsheet master? Okay. The changes that were accomplished in this budget are bigger than you can imagine. The major essential improvement, separating capital from operating, is huge. The adjustment to the mill levy was done as close to the line as possible. I mean, we got all but like $3 that we could have gotten with the percentage. And I've seen on numerous occasions, I've seen Corey's spreadsheet, and it's scary as all get out. It's like 15 different tabs and all of one another. And it's amazing work to be able to produce a budget of this caliber. And I don't know what you started with, but I know you didn't start with that. So it was really well done. And then Daryl and Mark worked really hard with Corey, especially in the capital items. So that's my report. It's you know, singing your praises, all of you, for doing just a masterful job.
And it was truly a team effort. And we actually found, Sean and I actually was reviewing it again today and found some other mistakes that I have overlooked, and it's been a team effort.
Well, I mentioned that I do accounting for a bunch of organizations, and they're working on the budget. Somebody made a screw up to the tune of about $500,000 on the budget, and I found it. So I know how hard it is, because their budget is a mini version of the one you created, with all these things talking back and forth, and just formula entered wrong. So kudos to you guys. You did a great job.
Next, the Recreation Committee.
So we have I have nothing. Daryl, do you just want to touch on that trunk or treat real quick? Just put that out there.
Yeah. So it'll be this Saturday. Sorry.
Threw you on the spot. I should have winked or something.
He's coming your way. He did touch on it in his director's report too.
Yeah. Yeah, so the times would be Saturday. It'd be Saturday, obviously, the times would be 5 to 7 for the trunk or treat. And then we would continue at 7:15 with the movie at Spookly. Sorry, that's a tongue twister for me for some reason. Spookly, the Square Pumpkin. And then continue at 8:15 Saturday with Sleepy Hollow.
Thank you.
Somebody actually got capitalized to make that movie, Spoofly the Square Pumpkin. Imagine.
That wasn't my pick. Yeah.
And unfortunately, my 3-year-old loves it.
Jeez. Never seen it, so I don't know it.
Charlie Brown and the Great Pumpkin, or?
Yeah, hey, I'm down with that. I'm down with the classics. I go 5.
They used to play it on.
Okay. That's a pretty scary movie, actually.
East barbecue will be here at 4.
Thank you.
So
our vendors that we Katie
Bring a
will be
blanket.
here at 4, so thank you.
Okay, the Personnel Committee has nothing to
Bring the
report.
kid. Yeah.
And is there any requests for future agenda items from the committees?
I would like to discuss keeping the concrete pad like the rec center was, future recreational potential.
You got something buried under it, or?
A swimming pool.
Don't dig up at November 18th.
Yeah.
Okay, with that at 9:37 PM, we will adjourn.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you.